Hello, sports fans. Welcome on in. It is the Sean O'Connell Show here on ESPN 792.1 FM. Sean is gone. He's all the way in South Africa. Scott Mitchell here filling in for Sean today and tomorrow. Great show today. So excited to be here. A lot of things happening in sports. A lot of things about to happen in sports. Regardless, we're going to talk about all of it. Got some fun conversations with some amazing people today. And also, you have me, and I'll give my insight as well. Listen, if you miss part of the show, don't panic. If you're driving in your car, whatever you're doing right now, just download the ESPN 700 app or go to ESPN700sports.com. You can listen live there. You can listen live on the app. You can tell your smart speaker to just play ESPN 700. We're also on YouTube. At ESPN 700 Sports Utah. So I cannot pick my nose today. I know, or I guess I could, and it would make YouTube news if that was the case. All right, 46 days until Utah plays at UCLA at 9 p.m. on Fox. 46 days until that happens. The countdown is real. It is a thing. Major League Baseball All-Star Game is tonight. In Atlanta, Mariners Cal Raleigh, the big dumper. Who's had 38 home runs, highlights a roster. It's the most home runs since Barry Bonds in 2001. Coverage begins here, right here, on your home of Major League Baseball, ESPN 792.1 FM. By the way, the Sean O'Connell Show is brought to you proudly by Big Willie's Sports Bar in Salt Lake. From craft food to craft cocktails, they are the sports bar. Check them out today. Oh, man. So I just love sports. I really do. It's just absolutely so fascinating. And one of the things that is really fascinating to me is the quarterbacks. So the Netflix, they have the second season of the quarterbacks, which the one they had before had Patrick Mahomes, Marcus Mariota, and Kirk Cousins. And it was fascinating. And it's fascinating because I've been there. Like, I've lived that life. And, man, does it bring up a lot of memories. But if there is a program on television that you really want to watch and you're a sports fan, go to Netflix and go watch quarterbacks because it is as real as rain. It's awesome how they got these guys to do it. Of course, it's Peyton Manning's deal, and they just do a phenomenal job. These guys are very open, very kind of behind the curtain kind of thing, very candid in all of what they're doing, and it's fascinating. Now, it's from last season. So it's Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins, and number 3 is, gosh, who's the third one? Why can't I remember who? Oh, it's Jared Goff. Well, how could I not forget Jared Goff? Because Jared Goff is a quarterback for the Detroit Lions. And to hear his story is just phenomenal. Like, he's just got a great story. And I have been in the crucible that is the Detroit Lions starting quarterback position, and those folks there are harsh and hard, and it's just good to see how well he's been embraced. But just a fantastic thing that you want to check out. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to play Coach Whittingham's press conference at Big 12 Media Day, and I'm going to give you my breakdown of what was coach's speak and what was real from Coach Whittingham, and I'll give you the down and dirty, the insight. By the way, that's a show I do here on ESPN 700 right before the Sean O'Connell Show, the Down and Dirty. So every day, 10 to 11 here on the mothership. All right, so here's Coach Whittingham from Big 12 Media Days.
We'll give the Cowboys some more exposure here. There we go. Okay. First off, just want to express just the tragedy in Kerrville, and the hearts go out to the community of Kerrville and what they've experienced. Thoughts and prayers with the families of the victims, and just such a tragedy, and just want to let them know that they're first and foremost, at least in my mind, and really such a sad thing, and hopefully they can heal, and just really no words to express other than so sorry for that, and wish them well. As far as University of Utah, coming off a season that was disappointing to say the least. It's not who we have been traditionally, not who we are, but that's the way the season went. So there's no excuses. We just have to be better. I'm excited for this season. We have some things going for us this year. We think we have a tremendous offensive line. It's a great starting point offensively anytime you're good up front, and we feel like we have really good players up there, a couple projected first-round draft choices at the tackle position, 3 seniors inside that have all played good football for us, and really good players. All 3 could get drafted as well. So we expect to be very good up front, which will make life much better for our quarterback, Devin Dampierre, transfer from New Mexico. He came with Jason Beck, the offensive coordinator at New Mexico, so he's been able to be in the system that he was in last year. He was like a coach on the field for us in spring ball, a tremendous leader. He was voted to the Leadership Council after having only been on campus for 2 weeks. That's how much his teammates thought of him after being around him for 2 weeks. So he's a dynamic player. True dual threat, rushed for over 1,000 yards, threw for over 2,500 yards. I've been told there's only 4 quarterbacks in NCAA history that have been able to achieve that. So excited to watch him play this fall. And if spring ball is any indication, you guys are in for a treat to watch him play this fall. Defensively, just in general, we've been good on defense literally for decades. We expect more of the same this year. Proud of the way the defense competed last year. They were put in some bad situations, didn't have a whole lot of help last year, but continued to battle and put up some really good numbers on the defensive side of the ball. So anyway, we're excited to get the season going. It'll be here before you know it. Players report 29th of July. We open up on August 30th in the Rose Bowl against UCLA, and away we go. So questions?
All right, go center right, 7th row.
Tyler Budge, CF Budge. Coach, you already talked about some of the new offensive additions a little bit. What drew you to Jason Beck as a play caller and a coordinator, and also what added benefit will be there from guys like Dampier that follow him from New Mexico?
Well, great question. Myself, our defensive coordinator, Morgan Scally, who is our coach in waiting, did a national search when we had the coordinator position available. Just watching all the tape of the various offenses, the production, the creativity, the innovation, how they use their players. When all was said and done, myself and Coach Scally were on the exact same page that Jason Beck was a great fit for what we're doing and what direction we wanted to go. When we got Jason on board, Devin Dampierre, his quarterback in New Mex last year, was eager to stay with Jason and stay in the same offense. So Devin transferred in, having him know the offense and not have any learning curve at all, because he's been through, Jason has complete autonomy to do what he wants offensively. We're going to be almost a carbon copy of what New Mexico was in philosophy. He does a great job, Jason does, of utilizing personnel, getting guys in position to be successful. And so you'll see some different twists than what you saw last year, but that's just because he's making the most of the players that he has available. Devin and the offense at New Mexico finished 4th in the nation last year in total offense. Not to be disparaging, but he was pretty much a one-man show and did most of it on his own. And so I'm sure he's excited to be able to operate behind our offensive line.
Center left, front row.
Steve Bartle, KSL Sports. Coach, after the changes you've made this offseason, how do you feel those changes with your staff, with the players, have meshed with the culture and the identity of the program that you've built over the last 2 decades? I
think it's been a good addition to the coaching staff with Jason and Mark Ottawai and Mike and Simon. Those are the 3 new offensive coaches. Coy Detmer is also with us as an analyst on offense. It's been a seamless transition. Spring ball was very productive. Our defensive coaches, I know, are very impressed with what Jason has brought to the table and the difficulty to defend, the formations and the way he utilizes personnel. So far, it's been a good situation. The rubber will hit the road when we start playing in the fall, but I'm excited to see how it goes.
Center right, front row.
Hey, Coach. Nick Hamilton, Nightcast Media. You spoke earlier about Devin Dampier, about his leadership and how he's been able to ingratiate himself into the culture and as well as with the team. How do you see him having, as far as this season, being able to do that on and off the field, to be able to be an extension of you and your staff while keeping the chains moving?
Well, he's off to a great start. As I mentioned, he's got the respect of his peers, having been voted on the leadership council. His leadership, I talk about his physical ability. He's got that it factor that you look for in quarterbacks. He's got the field general mentality that you look for. He's a guy that everybody gravitates towards. There's no doubt who's in charge on offense. We don't huddle, and so it's not like he commands the huddle. But everybody looks to Devin as the leader of the offense, and that's pretty impressive. Like I said, the short time that he's been on campus, but he's a guy that is a proven commodity. There's things he needs to work on. We got to get the completion percentage up a little bit higher. We've got to get the touchdown to interception ratio a little bit better. But he was just a sophomore last year, and he definitely made improvement in those areas through spring ball.
We'll go center left, fifth row.
Kyle, what went into the decision to move Otto Tia from wide receiver to tight end, and who are the other names you just kind of expect to emerge as your top pass catchers this season?
Well, Otto Tia, first of all, he's a big kid. He's 225 pounds, and he fights to stay at 225. He's probably bigger than that now, but he's 6'4 plus, and just for what Jason Beck envisions for him, it's a better fit as a tight end. Now, he's not a true inline tight end. He'll be more of an H-back guy where he can move around, flex out, and create some mismatches, hopefully, on offense. But he's a guy that is got a lot of ability, and we just felt in this scheme and what Jason saw through the first couple weeks of spring ball, it was a benefit to him and us to move him into the tight end spot. As far as the wide receiver position, that's probably the biggest question mark on the football team right now as far as the hierarchy, who's going to be wide receiver 1, 2, and 3, etc. We didn't come out of spring with any true pecking order. We've got a lot of good players there. I think we have 4 or 5 transfers at the position, and so that will continue to be a battle and a competition going through fall camp. And probably the most important thing that we can do in fall camp is to sort those wide receivers out and determine who are going to be the go-to guys.
We'll go center left, second row.
Sammy Mora, UteZone.com, 24/7 Sports. Kyle, there's been a lot of talk about the offense, obviously, rightfully so, with the transition to Jason Beck. But the Utah defense, it brings back quite a few key contributors from last season. What are you looking for specifically from, Lander Barton, Smith, Snowden, Teo Johnson as they head into this season?
Well, I would say more of the same. Like I said earlier, the defense has been very consistent, very something that you can count on from year to year. Can't remember the last time we've had a real down year defensively, and so the defense just needs to do what they've been doing for a lot of years. One thing we can do a better job of is taking the football away. If there's a knock on last year's defense, is we did not create enough takeaways, and that's something that will help out the offense tremendously. And we could have used that obviously to help out our offense last year. But as far as defending the run, defending the pass, red zone production, total yards a game, all those things are in line, but we've got to get back to taking the ball away, which historically and traditionally we've done a very good job. Last year was probably the least efficient year in a long time as far as taking the ball away.
We'll go center right, third row.
Sam Foster, Daily Universe. Yesterday, a lot of questions were asked to Keanu Tanavasa just about his decision to transfer and the rivalry as a whole. Can you just brush up on your team's reaction to him deciding to transfer, and what's it like to be in this rivalry with so many ties between both universities?
As far as that goes, you just move on. An old experienced coach once told me, you win with the players you got, you don't worry about the players you don't have, so I really have nothing to add to that. The rivalry, it's good to see. Not good to see, but it adds a different dimension to it and more meaning to it when you're both in the same league, which we haven't been for years and years, but now we are. And so that not only is a rivalry game, but a game that could and should be instrumental in who ends up winning the Big 12. So in that respect, it's ratcheted up quite a few notches and back to where it was, the feel of where it was when we were in the Mountain West Conference together.
We'll go center right, second row.
Coach Lynn here, just State Line Power 5. How you doing today?
Good, thank you.
That's good to hear. So can you talk about your defensive coordinator, Morgan Scaly, and what he means to your program, considering, I mean, he played for Utah, was a graduate assistant, spent his whole coaching career with the Utes, and I guess he's supposed to be your successor whenever you decide to retire, I guess, I don't know. But can you explain what he means to the program and to you?
Yeah, well, he is the coach in waiting, the head coach in waiting, which, as I understand it, when it's time for me to hit the highway, he's the next guy in line, and that's contractually in place as of now. I've known Morgan for, 25 years, 30 years, recruited him to Utah, coached him as a player, hired him as a GA, hired him as a full-time coach, promoted him to defensive coordinator. I mean, me and Morgan have many of the same philosophies, many of the same teaching techniques, the fundamentals. We've always been on the same page from a recruitment standpoint, the personnel, the type of players we need at Utah, and I have no doubt that when his time comes to lead the program, he'll do a terrific job, and he'll be more than ready for it.
Time for one final question. We'll go center left 6.
Kyle, Jake Hatch, Locked On Podcast Network. I wanted to ask you about your offensive line. You talked about you have Lomu as potential first-round picks. Are you willing to declare this offensive line the best in the country?
We hope it. Best in the country? That's a tough statement because I haven't studied the entire country as far as what people have coming back. But I can say with confidence we should be the best offensive line since I've been at the University of Utah, which has been forever. And so, we're going to lean on them heavily. And if they play like we think they're going to play, that's going to be a huge plus for our offense. But as far as weighing them nationally, you'd have to ask Phil Steele or someone like that what his thoughts are.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right. There you have it. Coach Whittingham in his press conference at Big 12 Media Day. Always interesting to hear what Coach Whittingham has to say and to see what you can glean from the things that he says. Is there something that, he's not saying or kind of saying that's interesting? They ask him some pretty softball questions. Now, I will tell you, so here's the BS meter, right? So coaches, they don't want to get into the weeds. They don't want to get into the controversy of things. He was asked about Keanu Tunavasa and him leaving. And it's one thing to have one of your top players, one of your guys who's, kind of he's a legacy player, family, deep ties to the University of Utah. And he's in his career. And then he decides, well, I'm going to the rival. Like it's one thing to have a player like that leave. It's a whole nother level to have that player leave and go to the rival. And then on top of it, kind of talk. It's almost a passive aggressive kind of discussion where he's like, he's super happy and excited about where he is and. Just felt like it feels like it's a little slap in the face that his experience at Utah wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't enough for him, and he needed to go to BYU to be fulfilled as a player. And Coach Whittingham says, "No, we just move on." I guarantee you, they didn't just move on. He didn't move on. Nobody moved on. Those folks up there were ticked. And everyone, all the Utah fans, absolutely ticked off about Keanu Tunavasa and the whole thing that happened. And he didn't do anything to quell the hatred or the vitriol, feelings that are there when Keanu was at Big 12 Media Days. And so it's just I just know Coach Whittingham is not happy about it. He's never going to say that. And he can't say that publicly, but behind the scenes, if there's a coach that wants to win a game and he's not motivated enough as it is, what Keanu did will motivate the heck out of a lot of people at the University of Utah. They may never say it, but I guarantee you they feel it, and it matters. That game this year matters a lot. Now, I have breaking news. This just came through the wire. Jake Retzlaff has just enrolled at the University of Utah. Just kidding, folks. I just wanted to feel for just a moment Jake Retzlaff did not enroll in the University of Utah. But boy, what if he did?
Well,
what if he did?
Yeah,
what if he did?
Scott, he did ask. He and his reps did ask about if there'd be a spot for him if he transferred to Utah, and our sources, or at least Sean O'Connell's sources, said that they said no, there would not be a spot for you.
No, they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Now, if they didn't have Devin Dampier and they're kind of where they were, they would have a spot for him.
Yeah,
but,
I mean,
look, Utah is all in on Devin Dampier. They're all in. They're as in on Devin Dampier as they ever were with Cam Rising.
Yeah,
which is scary, by the way, because
I would argue even more so because it took them took them 2 years, 2.5 years to decide. Hey, we like Cam enough to give him a shot to be the starter.
Right. I'm talking about the last couple of years where Utah was all in, and that's one of the crazy stories, and one of the questions I've always had. How could you not tell you had Cam Rising? Like, you had him with you every single day, and you picked another guy. How could you not see that? Like who's evaluating the players and who really should play? Because I'm telling you, it was immediate. It was instant. Now Cam Rising did win the starting job in the COVID year and was injured. You remember the USC game?
Yeah, that's true. So I guess it was like a year and a half.
Yeah, so he did get the nod. And Coach Whittingham always spoke highly of him. Even when he wasn't playing, he was named a captain when Charlie Brewer was named a starting quarterback. And why? But it's funny how bad people are at picking talent. Like you just don't know. I mean, I think some people know. I know. I'm a good talent picker, just so you know.
Are you?
Very much so, yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any examples?
12 years in the NFL.
Yeah, but what talent
and beyond that?
What talent did you pick?
You can just tell across the board. You can just tell.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you can tell.
Matt Millen played a long time in the NFL. He wasn't good at picking.
Matt Millen was horrible.
He didn't do so good.
But the
picking
problem
talent.
here's the thing, okay? And it's just by the nature of the position. When you play quarterback, you watch everybody. Okay, so you study defensive linemen, you study linebackers, you understand technique. You understand what it takes to play those positions.
You're watching the running backs even to see how
everyone,
right?
Offensive line, you have a really good sense of every position on the field. Now, you don't know it like super in depth, but I'm just telling you, I know the positions very well across the board. I even know about kickers and kind of because I was a holder.
Oh, you were a holder, of course.
So there's just things you can when you watch and observe players, you can tell a lot. One of the things that was always fascinating to me. So before I was doing the radio at the University of Utah, I would go to the games and I watched them from the sidelines. And for me, the best part of watching the game was warm-ups. Like, you could just tell a lot about players by how they warmed up and if you watch and notice, there's always scouts at every game, NFL scouts, and I've talked to those guys. I said, what do you look for, and how important is warm-ups? And they're like, man, we get so much out of warm-ups because you see there's this kind of passion for the game. It's a process of is this guy are they serious about this game? Do they show up every week ready to play? And because that, like, I know how valuable warm-ups were for me as a player. I understand that whole process, but every year we would get into you'd have the draft, you'd have free agents, you'd have all this stuff, so you have all these new guys come to your team, and in a short period of time you go, that guy can play, that guy can't play. There's just certain things about them that I think in the whole time with guys like free agents, very few free agents made the team. And there was a guy, Miles Okama, I think was his name, played for the Lions, a wide receiver. And he's one of the few non-drafted free agent guys that really, I go, that guy's going to make it. And there's just something, I don't know how to describe it completely, but you just watch how people prepare, you watch how they play the game, and you know what attributes translate into being successful on the field. You can just tell in a heartbeat. A guy who really threw me off was Chad Johnson.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was at Cincinnati his rookie year, and you watch him play, you go, that guy's that's a first round talent.
Yeah.
I think the Bengals picked him in the second or third round. And a lot of it was his maturity. A lot of it was he had off-field problems.
He was loud and brash.
Well,
and
he
all
wasn't
that,
he wasn't as a rookie.
He wasn't as a rookie.
No,
okay.
The very first game, preseason game playing the Buffalo Bills, and I call the first play, and I'm walking toward the line of scrimmage. He goes, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. What did you say in the huddle? What am I supposed to do? Like, he was so overwhelmed, and he just wasn't ready to play. And I just remember thinking, got the talent, but, all the other things that you need to have to play, he doesn't have. And someone got a hold of him. And I think it was Keyshawn Johnson, and just said, and he got with Chris Carter and all those guys, and they kind of rattled his cage and said, you got to take this uber serious. And he did. And it really transformed his whole.
He ended up being a terrific wide
receiver. He was a great player, but he really matured, and someone got to him, because he's one of those guys that could go either direction. If he got with the right mentor, with the right people, it was going to be a good thing for him. If he didn't, he's going to be a guy that a lot of talent, but just doesn't make it in the league. And talent alone, it doesn't cut it in the NFL, because everyone's talented. That was the number one shock to me when I got to the NFL. Every single position, center, guard, tackle, defensive line, defensive end, every single guy was massively talented. Like, the guys didn't ever fall over. They stayed on their feet, because it's like, if you can't stand up, you can't play the game. And you have to be a really good athlete to take kind of the blow you're going to get from someone else and still stay on your feet and hold your ground.
Yeah, I've heard some talent evaluators talk about guys who are in media now, and from various sports, not just football, talk about how a lot getting to the NFL and getting to a big time college football is a lot about genetics, the athleticism you're born with, and how you, obviously how well you play with it growing up. But then once you get to the big leagues, if you will, the little stuff is kind of the differentiator, because everyone's the work ethic, the study habits, all that is the differentiator.
I hated when we drafted guys from Florida State.
Did you?
Because Florida State had the dudes, and in college you just outdude people.
Yeah.
You just have better dudes. In the pro, but those dudes don't understand how to really work at and become a master of their craft, because they haven't had to. They go, I'm an outduder. Are you saying
the great Bobby Bowden didn't teach them
very
well?
No, he didn't have to. No, it's just like, my athletes are gonna out athlete yours. And we're gonna just put our athletes on the field and let them play.
Florida State fans, 877-353-0700.
I'm not the only person.
Want to air some grievances?
Well, no,
Scott.
But it was true, and it's always true. I mean, look, Lavelle Edwards, and it's massively understated. What he did in college football, he said, we cannot play with the dudes. We can't line up against them. But what we can do is we can do something different that they're not used to, that they don't practice and prepare for, and we can play at a high level. We can teach these players great schemes and have them execute those schemes at a high level. And Lavelle Edwards did a lot of really good things and won a lot of football games because of that, with way lesser talent. But they were just so much more coached. They were so much more advanced than teams. And then you started seeing teams like Miami get into a pro style of offense, and then they took the dudes. Now, guys from Miami, different story. I'll take guys from Miami back in the day, because those guys had been taught. Like they understood. They understood. Look, Dion was a Florida State guy, and they just said, "Run, Dion, run! Like you're faster than everybody else." But Dion was one of the guys, one of the smart guys that he said, "Look, this is more than my athleticism, and I got to understand the position, and I got to understand and really studied my opponent and how I can differentiate myself from all these other people." So you take someone who's a dude, and there's no one that's a better, bigger, badder dude than Deion Sanders on a football field, and he took a guy who said, now I'm gonna get smart. Now I'm gonna become a master at what I do. And that guy's a Mount Rushmore guy. That guy's a guy that's like nobody else.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of massively talented cornerbacks that don't reach that same level. It's a lot of guys, and it's so much about really understanding and being a master at the techniques of things, and those things they don't teach you at any college, really. I mean, the coaching you get in college is very minimal compared to what you get in the pros. All right, let's take a break. We come back here on the Sean O'Connell Show. We have none other than Coach Gordy Chiesa. Looking forward to really having a conversation with Coach when we get back on the Sean O'Connell Show here on ESPN 791 FM. Hey, sports fans, welcome back. It is the Sean O'Connell Show here on ESPN 792.1 FM. Scott Mitchell filling in for Sean today, tomorrow. Of course, we are going to be live up at Sports Center. We'll also be live at the Demke Family Stadium for the Athletes Unlimited Softball League. Their Salt Lake tournament is Thursday, July 17th. Utah's ESPN Radio Network is going to be live from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. That includes the Sean O'Connell Show and, of course, my show, The Down and Dirty. We'll all be there. Come and join us. Going to be a great day. You could get on Sports Center. We're going to give away official ESPN T-shirts and tickets to the Athletes Unlimited Softball game. So go check it out. Joining us right now on the program is none other than Coach Gordy Chiesa. Welcome to the show, Coach. How are you today?
Scott, I'm doing fine. Thank you.
I know that you spoke with Sean about this, but I really thought a lot about you with the passing of Coach Frank Layden, and just wanted to kind of get some of your thoughts on Coach Layden and what he meant to you and what he meant to the Utah Jazz and the folks here in the state of Utah.
Well, the first thing is that he's an American original. There's very few people like him as far as being a connector, where he could understand basketball, understand people, and connect both together in this place called Salt Lake City, Utah. He was the architect of every Jazz success, from being general manager to being head coach, and then later on being the team president. And he drafted some of the most amazing people that he selected in the draft. First, it was 1981, Darrell Griffith. Then it became Mark Eaton in the fourth round in 82. Then it became Farrell Bailey in 83, John Stockton in 84, and then Karl Malone in 85. Then he hired Jerry Sloan, Phil Johnson, and myself. He was, quote, our boss. He hired all three of us, and he was the architect to start the whole, really, 20 years of almost championship level.
I love that statement that he was an American original, and there just is no one like Frank Layden at all, and that very well said. What was he like as a boss? He's so funny, Gordy, and yet he's so serious and competitive. What was he like as a boss?
Wonderful, in a sense where he was a tremendous listener. And that if you had a problem, he would help you try to give you the options to try to attempt to solve the issue. And so he was really good at that he was very patient, yet highly competitive, and that he always talked about as far as what you want to do is bring the best out of people. And as I said recently to Andy Lawson, is that he treated everyone the same, whether you're the custodian or the mayor of New York City. In his world, everyone was treated with respect.
You know, I grew up and I'm from Utah, born and raised here, and of course, always a lifelong Utah Jazz fan. And you know, when you're a native Utahn, you have a little chip on your shoulder, or you have a sense of, I really like where I'm from, so don't rag on my state. And I think one of the most beautiful things about Frank Layden to me was he came from a very different world in Brooklyn, New York, and he really just embraced the culture of Utah. He really sold people. He really embedded himself into this community in such a beautiful way, and was so respectful of everyone. And so kind of, he was a gatherer. He's a guy that really brought people together from all different, walks of life and philosophies and religions and races. And he just owned coming here and bringing the Utah Jazz to Utah. And so from a native Utahns perspective, you just really appreciate that. You appreciate that someone comes in and they just embrace your state and who you are and own it. And he did that just masterfully.
Yeah, to the ultimate. And that you're describing there the ability to adapt and connect people in all different walks of life. And that's the beauty of sports, is that people from diverse backgrounds, different countries, different cultures, and now you're living in Salt Lake City and you have a common goal to be the best you can be as a player, but also as a collective group, achieve higher aspirations in a team sport. And Frank Layden had the ability to do that, and made it so special. And Frank was really funny. he always told me that he was the worst soldier in the history of the United States Army to ever serve in the military, and that they were happy to get rid of him after 2 years back in middle 1950s when he was a young man. And then he always told me that when he walked down the street in the early 80s and the Jazz were trying to drum up business, and someone say to him that Frank was from the Utah Jazz, and Frank would say, "Do you want to go to the game?" And then the guy would say to him, "What time does it start? What time can you get there, sir?"
Yeah. He was funny. He was very funny. You know, and you talk about sports and bringing people together. Look, the Utes hate the Cougars and the Cougars hate the Utes, but the Cougars and the Utes love the Jazz. And so he was able to bring all of us together in a great way. You had brought up something, and I because I do want to get into Summer League and some of the stuff that's going on there, kind of what philosophy, what you've seen you like. But before we do that, you had mentioned that there's some top free agents. So there's some free agents that are kind of out there that you really wanted to have a conversation about. So tell me who and what you want to talk about.
Well, first thing right now, today's July 15th, and so this is almost like an imaginary Scott, where the first 2 weeks of the free agency that the players had leverage was signed early. And now this list right now is these guys that are left that either fell through the cracks or they're restricted free agents, and they've lost some of their leverage because other players signed. So just quickly, here's some guys that are out there that can all play in the NBA. Some are heading to the Hall of Fame, but they're aging. Two guys are backing up everybody as far as signing. They're both restricted free agents. One is from the Golden State Warriors, Jonathan Kuminga. And the other one is from Chicago Bulls, Josh Giddey. And they're both restricted, which means that why would a team that has your rights give you a contract while what's the market going to bear right now? So both the teams are waiting to see if someone bids on them, and then they have literally 2 days to match. And if not, there's a negotiation going back and forth. And so far, it's been a slow walk. And the other guy that's a restricted free agent that's out there that's vastly underrated is a guy named Quentin Grimes from the 76ers. Here's just a few names that we all know about that are unrestricted, and they're also linked into the two guys you mentioned about Kuminga and Josh Giddey. They are Malcolm Broderick of the Wizards, unrestricted, Chris Paul of the Spurs, unrestricted, Russell Westbrook of the Nuggets, unrestricted, former Jazzman Alec Burks of the Heat, unrestricted, Gary Payton of the Warriors, unrestricted, Seth Curry of the Hornets, unrestricted, Ben Simmons, a former first-round pick, is unrestricted, and the two guys are going to be signed by the Warriors if they lose John Kuminga either on a sign-and trade or just a straight don't match. Al Horford is going to probably lead the Celtics to go to the Warriors in a one-year contract, and a guy named D'Anthony Melton, who's vastly underrated from the Brooklyn Nets, would go to the Warriors. The last two names, because of local ties here. There's two Utah alumni that were standouts that are both in the free agent market. They are DeLon Wright from the Knicks, unrestricted, and Brandon Carlson, restricted free agent of the world champion Thunder. So, Scott, you're an athlete, you're a professional athlete. What a feeling to be out there, and you haven't been signed yet.
Yes, I have been there, and it's not a great feeling. And a weird thing, as you were mentioning these players with the Utah Jazz, I mean, I believe they're one guy too heavy right now. They've got to get rid of someone.
Yes, under contract, 16 guys, yes.
Does it make sense for the Jazz to look at any of these restricted or unrestricted free agents, and do any of them make sense for the Jazz at this time, or is it, hey, we got what we wanted, and this is our team, and we're going to go with what we have right now, or are there guys that maybe they might make sense?
Well, it makes sense would be defensive player Gary Payton II. You get him for really a discount right now, and he's a defensive guard, both on ball, off ball. And so if the Jazz did waive one or two contracts that were, relatively speaking, that attained, then they're staring at Gary Payton. Remember, the Jazz are last in the NBA in overall defense last year. So, and they have a young team right now. And Gary Payton II is a proven defensive catalyst. And so he might be out there, and it would make sense to come off the bench and cause some havoc and some chaos with his intensity and his just overall foot speed and defensive playmaker.
A lot of guys knew the highly drafted players, of course, Ace Bailey for the Jazz, and their other first round Clayton Walker Jr. and they kind of shut him down. Cooper Flagg shut down. Dylan Harper shut down. What's the value of summer league basketball? Is it a good thing for some of these young players? Do they need more playing time right now, or are these teams pretty satisfied with what they have in these players? What's the strategy with so many of these guys kind of shutting it down, playing very little of summer league basketball?
I'm against it because, again, they're so young, and these guys need reps. Now, the question is, they might get hurt. But, Scott, they might get hurt in a pickup game playing in Dallas or playing in L.A. or playing in Vegas. So the second you say that they might get hurt, that's when you get hurt. And so with the Summer League, there's trainers there right in front of you. There's all the players that are there. There's the medical staff is there. And so that's the reasoning why they saw enough, and there's an element of there's a concern about the investment of them where these guys get really high-level contracts even as rookies. But I'm against it. I'm old school in the sense where if you're on a team right now, I'm not saying if you're injured. I'm just saying just holding a guy out.
Right.
Also, it's not fair to the fans. The fans want to see Cooper Flagg play, and so they bought these tickets in earnest to see him play in particular. And now after the first two games, he's not there. So I'm trying to combine management, ownership, being a fan, being a player, all in one dialogue. Just play. Just play, because you might get hurt in practice for 3 months from now, or you might never get hurt the rest of your life. And so, Scott, these are the risks everybody takes when you're an athlete.
Yeah, I think about it, and just having the level of competition, the opportunity, the organization of all of it. That you're in a situation where, look, we have your team together, or a significant part of your team is here together, and there's an opportunity to work in a real live simulated situation. These games are fairly competitive, and there's great competition. You go off on your own in a gym, you shoot your 10,000 shots and whatever you do and all these things you prepare for the season. But boy, it seems like there's just a huge opportunity for these players to take advantage of the organization of all of it. That those kinds of things just don't come around every day. But I did want to ask you about what is some of the stuff that players do. You mentioned pickup basketball games. What are some of the real effective things that players engage in the offseason to improve their game, to sharpen their skills, and to get better?
Well, most of them work on their shooting, which is good, the mechanics of it.
Right.
They work on a ball handling series. They work on situational shooting as far as in different parts of offense where they're going to play. And if you're a two guard, you're coming off a wide screening action. If you're a big guy, you're trying to set a screen and roll to the basket, or old school mid post up and try to use your back to the basket moves or turn and face. So it's offensive skills. And then just generally speaking, they're trying to improve their overall strength, especially your core strength. Most times there's an injury, usually, again, minus the unbelievable blow in your body, is that because you lack the core strength that you can maintain balance when you take a hit in the game. And there's always an exception to that. I get that. But just generally speaking. So conditioning, being weight training that are supervised, and just general skills. And then you play these pickup games with, people from different teams or street people that come into the gym and play with you. So that's what you want to try to do. But I'm for structure,
yeah.
Where you're around them. So, example, Scott, last night's game where the Jazz unfortunately lost 93-91, that was an hellacious game against the Spurs. I mean, that was a hard-fought, incredible, where you had to make plays out of nothing. And the guy made the last shot against the Jazz on that four-way jump shot against good defense by John Tonje, and he made a shot. Riley Minix made that shot over the top on that four-way jump shot, and that really was a game where the players that performed at it, they had to do certain things in the fourth quarter, and they did. So Kyle Filipowski, with his 35 points, 11 rebounds, 5 for 8 from 3, I'm glad he played. But I wish that was Ace Bailey, that he was playing in a game like that, because those are the games where you can build on just small little things, but it gives you confidence. And more importantly, Scott, your teammates have confidence in you,
right,
that you can play under physical and mental duress.
Yeah, it seems like Kyle Filipowski is a guy who really is taking advantage of his time in the Summer League this year. When you're a coach and you have players that are in this development process over time, where do you see the biggest development in your experience? Is it from year 1 to year 2 or 3 to 4? Where is the place where these players really make the biggest jump in their development?
Okay, the first jump would be 1 to 2, where they get physically stronger. So after the first season, they got pushed around under the basket right on perimeter. So now there's a much more earnest as far as weight training. And then the biggest jump is from year 2 to 3. That's when the guy played, usually speaking, erratic minutes as a rookie, got more playing time as a sophomore, meaning second year. And that second to third year, hopefully he's a starter, but if not, he's in rotation, and that's the biggest jump. Where you have some game experience, you're stronger, equals what now? You're much more confident in your skills. And so that 1 to 3 year period. Now, guys do get better after that, but that's the biggest jump. And so much is that the focus, where a lot of times players, Scott, they always do things they do well as far as off-season. I always talk about where the things you have to improve on, that's when you have to really try to accelerate it. So that make a certain skill that was a non-strength, make it a strength because you worked maniacal on it as far as the mechanics of doing it. For example, defensive stance. You can never have enough defensive technique, whether you're in the NBA or whether you're in the NFL. Technique is everything as far as how you use your hips, how you use your upper body, how you use your hands. In basketball, you want to have lively hands, not contact hands, meaning what? You foul the guy then. And these are all things that the players learn between the first and third year. And I'm looking forward to seeing Jazz basketball, Scott, which guys will be able to do that.
Yeah, and I think you're seeing some of that. Do you have a list for us today before I let you go?
Yes, Scott. The list today is an element of Frank Layden in this.
Oh.
It's a history of the New Orleans Jazz, Utah Jazz head coaches, their won and lost record. Do you realize that this is Jazz's 51st year in basketball just completed? They've only had 9 head coaches, Scott, in 51 years. So it's almost like the Pittsburgh Steelers type, or the Green Bay Packers, or the New England Patriots type, which shows you how the Jazz are relatively stable. Here we go. Number 9, Scotty Robinson was the first coach of Jazz history in New Orleans. Unfortunately, he only lasted 15 games. His record was 1-14. Next coach was Tom Nasalki. He won 60 games and lost 124. He was the first coach here in Salt Lake City. 7th as far as winning most wins. Butch Brambredikoff, his record was 74-100. He coached also in New Orleans. Number 6, coach of the Jazz right now, Will Hardy's record in 3 years is 85 wins and 161 losses. Number 5 most wins in Jazz history as a coach, Elgin Baylor. 2 years in New Orleans, 86 wins, 134 losses.
Interesting.
4th most wins in Jazz history, Tyrone Corbin, 112 wins, 146 losses. Number 3, the architect of Utah Jazz basketball, Frank Layden. He coached the Jazz for 7 years from 1981 to 1988. His record was 277 wins and 294 losses. The second most wins in Jazz history is Quinn Snyder. He coached the Jazz for 8 years from 2014 to 2022. His record was 372 victories and 264 defeats. And the number 1 coach in the history of Utah Jazz basketball. He coached the Jazz fearlessly for 23 years, from 1988 to 2011. Jerry Sloan. His record was 1,127 victories and 682 losses. Thus, that's my list of the day. Quickly. Usually speaking, these are the 5 things a successful head coach in the NBA or in the NFL have to have. 1, they're superior teachers. 2, communicators. 3, listeners. 4, problem solvers. And 5, change agents. So much when you get a job, the team is down, you got to be a change agent to get the culture to the way that things previously didn't work out. You've got to change the culture by your force of personality and by including the players in the process.
Oh, man, love our time together. Really appreciate it. Great lists, great stuff. Have a great day, Gordy, and we'll catch you soon.
Thanks, Scott. Stay well. Peace out.
All right, there you have it. Coach Gordy Chiesa joins the show. At the top of the hour, we got Scooby Mageza. He's a Sports Center anchor with ESPN. He's going to be in town this week, and don't want to miss it. We're going to be up at the Demke Family Softball Stadium at the University of Utah, and got some cool stuff going on. All the shows will be there from 7 in the morning till 6 at night. Don't want to miss it. He's coming up next here on the Sean O'Connell Show on ESPN 700 92.1 FM. All righty, sports fans, welcome back. It is the Sean O'Connell Show here on ESPN 792.1 FM. I'm Scott Mitchell filling in for Sean today and tomorrow. So we're excited. We're having a great time. Sean is actually in South Africa. Yes, that's right, South Africa, doing the PFL stuff. So so glad you could join us. Great first hour, even a greater second hour. Really excited about what we have going on here. Don't worry if you can't hear this whole thing, because you can go to ESPN700sports.com, listen live. You can go to the ESPN 700 app. It's free. You can listen on your phone, your smart device, whatever. You can also tell your smart speaker to play ESPN 700. We're also on at ESPN 700 Sports Utah on YouTube. Joining us on the program right now is none other than Scooby Mageza. He's SportsCenter anchor. He will be live on site at the University of Utah's Demke Family Stadium Thursday for SportsCenter's 50 States in 50 Days tour. Scooby, how are you today, and welcome to the program.
I'm doing great. I appreciate you guys having me on. We're really excited about heading out to Utah, and I've known for some time that I'll be heading out there, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
So you've never been to Utah. What do you know about our great state, and what can I help you with? How can I enlighten you on how wonderful it is here?
Well, to be honest, I don't know quite a lot. Every single person that I've told that I'm heading over to Utah has been like, it is beautiful. So I'm excited about that. Obviously, as soon as I get there, I kind of hit the ground running, and I'm busy with a bunch of things to, work. But just having the opportunity to visit Utah in this capacity, where I get to go to the university, go to the Olympic Park, and all those things, I think it's a great way to experience it. So I'm looking forward to the visit.
Well, we're so happy to have you, and we're very proud of our state. We like to think that we've really grown up in the sports world. We have a professional basketball team with the Utah Jazz. We have the NHL with the Utah Mammoth. Of course, you've mentioned the Olympics, and it's just a fabulous Olympic venue. You're going to love all of that. We've had the 2002 Olympics. Of course, they're coming back in 2034. So we're very proud of our sports world. We got two football programs in Power 4 football here, and they're a massive rivalry. I'm sure you're going to understand that rivalry when you get out here. So we're happy to bring you to our great state and celebrate sports like we do. Now, this 50 States in 50 Days tour, tell me a little bit about that. I've kind of seen some of the other states that you've highlighted. What's kind of behind this whole idea, and what actually goes into it? What are you trying to accomplish?
So this is something that was done before by SportsCenter, I think about 20 years ago in 2005, where they did 50 states in 50 days. And during this time of the year, I think everyone can understand that sports is a little bit quiet, especially in the United States, as football is king and basketball has just finished up their season. And we're kind of in the middle of baseball season as we approach All-Star break. So there's not as much going on on our network. And we try to fill it up as much as we can with other sports, of course. But having that gap and having that space, it's almost a perfect time to just kind of showcase the SportsCenter brand, visit every single state, because every state has something to show and something to tell about their passion and love for sports. And sports is one of the most unifying activities out there across the entire world. So it doesn't matter what language you speak, what color you are, or how you look like, or where you're from. Everyone has some type of love and passion related towards sports. So being able to bring the brand that is SportsCenter by the world's leader in sports, it's truly an honor. And I think we're just trying to spread the love and get people excited about sports. And even though it's not football or basketball or even hockey, we're still able to appreciate sports itself by visiting every single state with our SportsCenter brand.
You know, you're talking about ESPN being the leader in sports. And I remember as a young boy getting cable television and having ESPN. You know, it was like sports, 24/7. And then later on in my life, like I would watch probably the first, 3-4 hours of SportsCenter in the morning. It was like, I don't drink coffee. So my relationship with waking up was listening to SportsCenter. And I have to imagine, for you, what's it like kind of being a part of ESPN and the great brand that it is, and kind of what tell me what got you there.
You know, I tell people all the time I'm living the dream, and for me to be on that Sports Center desk is truly an honor because there's so many greats before me that have laid down the foundation of being there. But for me, I was born in Zimbabwe. I'm an immigrant. I was born in Africa, moved to Boston when I was 8 years old, kind of came here with my mom and my brother, and it was just, $1,500 in our pocket trying to live out the American dream. So, we came here with pretty much nothing. And as I grew up in this country, in the Boston area, playing sports, and I was a 3-sport athlete in high school: football, basketball, track, and fell in love with the game of football. And for me, I wanted to be in the NFL just like any other kid that plays sports. You want to be a professional, but there comes that reality where it's like some people are just from a different planet when you talk about getting to the pros. So I was blessed enough to have adults around me that made me think a little bit deeper with my career. And ultimately, it just came down to, hey, if I'm not going to play in the NFL, then I at least want to be able to talk about it. So that's when it came about. Before I even got to college, I wanted to get to ESPN. I wanted to be on Sports Center. So I went to school studying communication media, 4 years, did 3 internships. My first job out of college was working at a local Fox station as a teleprompter worker from 3 to 11 a.m., 3 to 11 a.m. And, with that experience, I was able to network, and that's just what it's about in this industry. It's not about what you know; it's about who you know, and through that, you can gain knowledge. So I ended up networking my way into the sports department. Came up, got my first job in a small television market in Alpena, Michigan. For everyone that doesn't know where Alpena, Michigan is,
I know where Alpena, Michigan is, by the way.
Yeah.
I lived there for 7 years. Yeah.
Oh, you lived in Alpena for 7 years?
Not Alpena, but I lived in Michigan. And if you're in Michigan, you know every little town in Michigan. Just so you know, you know everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. To put it lightly, for anyone that's listening, like, what's Alpena, Michigan like? I'm a black man, and there's about 30 of us out there, and I had to cut my own hair because there was no black barbers around. But that's I digress. Love my time out there, and in this industry, you kind of work your way up. So. And loved the journey. Went to my second station after a year and a half in Alpena in Iowa. I lived in the Quad Cities for 3 years. And then after being in the Quad Cities for 3 years, ESPN was still the dream. But somehow through the NABJ conference, it's a conference where you kind of just go to booths, and ESPN had a booth. I spoke to a recruiter, and they offered me a job. And through that, I've kind of worked my way up in ESPN. And for me, it's always been the goal. It's always been the reason that I move with purpose to do something that you love, where you wake up and you don't necessarily feel like you're working. I still can't believe I get to do what I do. And I've been at ESPN for almost 4 years now. So it's been a long path. I just gave the quick, short version story of it. And it's truly a dream come true, because this is what my family and I moved to America for. This is what we worked towards, and I get to do it every day.
I love hearing that story. And you see, mine was different. See, I dreamed of becoming a professional athlete, playing the NFL, and I actually did. And so my fallback plan was ESPN, which I do now. So I do a radio show here in Salt Lake on the radio, but I've always wondered, like, because I've watched the Sports Center and ESPN for years. I just so many of the anchors became sports. They were as big a names as there were in sport. I just think that would be so fun to anchor, to be a broadcaster on ESPN. So good for you, and I love that.
Thank you. Yeah. It's a lot of fun, and people always ask me, what's the best part about working at ESPN? And quite frankly, it's the people. It's the people that you get to work with. For anyone that's ever worked on a group project before, you sometimes don't know if certain people are going to carry their weight. But if you've ever worked on a group project where everyone exceeds your expectations of them, it's a beautiful thing. And there's so many creative and talented people there that bust their ass, and it ends up really making out a great piece of content.
You guys do a great job. You really do. And I think this is such a wonderful thing to celebrate all of these great states and sports across America, and it's truly a neat thing. Now, from what I understand, are you doing batting practice tomorrow at the softball game? Is that what I understand?
From what I understand, yes. I will be. Someone will be throwing at me. I have not been told who or what. Tell you what, I just got out the gym. I did a little bit of running. I'm trying to get the body all loosened up, and I'm gonna give it a go. But yes, I'll be in the dish.
When are you doing this? What time? Because I think I want to watch this. I think this might be entertaining to watch. Did you play baseball or?
No, I played football. I played college football.
So what position did you play in football? What were you?
Wide receiver.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you haven't played base. Did you go to have you been practicing at all for this, or are you just kind of going into it blind and just see what happens?
Going into it blind. Just going to lean back on whatever athleticism that I have. And quite frankly, it'll make for better content if I look silly anyway. So I think that's the best.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's why I want to watch, because I know this is going to be silly. I have confidence that you're going to struggle. How's that? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think I would put money on that bet as well.
So I imagine growing up in Boston, I mean, what a great sports town. And the Patriots just have been wonderful, and the Celtics, and of course the Red Sox, and it's almost, I might be the greatest sports town in the world, but I love lobster rolls. Are you into lobster rolls at all?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Kelly's Roast Beef on Revere Beach has some of the best lobster rolls that you can get. But that's big out in the Northeast, and if you haven't had a lobster, they say lobster, not the lobster.
Right? Yeah. My bad.
If you haven't had one out there, you're not living.
So believe it or not, we actually have a lobster roll here in Utah that's pretty good. It's been voted the best lobster roll outside of where they come from in the country. There's one here in Salt Lake, one up in Park City, and you may have to check it out while you're here. That was a free pub there for Freshies Lobsters, but it's pretty good. Now I went to Boston, and the only meals that I had, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, were lobster rolls, and I did it intentionally, and it was phenomenal.
I mean, if you're going to be out there, you might as well make the best of it, right?
Absolutely. So what do you know? What are you going to talk about? What are you going to highlight here in the state of Utah? In the sports world, what have you guys got on store for us that we can get excited about?
Well, definitely the softball league. That's going to be one of our main focuses while we're out there, because we'll be at a game, because I'll be doing some activities out there, and then we're going to lean into some of the stuff related towards the Delta Center. There's a lot of excitement around the basketball team right now, so that's something that we'll have conversations about. And then I'll be going to Olympic Park. I think that's really cool, the history that has happened there. So those will kind of be our three focuses. We have some other things planned that are still being put together, so I cannot confirm nor deny any of them, but the work will be put in to try and add more surprises. We're just waiting on some answers from people. And, so we'll have Jess Mendoza over there. I'll have an interview with her. And I'm going to host the Sports Center from 5 to 6 p.m. I think it's about 4 to 5 p.m. I'll be hosting Sports Center with Molly McGrath live at the stadium. So that'll be fun as well. And whatever surprises happen, we'll make for great TV.
Yeah, speaking of the Delta Center, in lieu of building brand new stadiums for the NHL and the NBA, they're doing something in retrofitting each one of the venues, because they're unique in how they're viewed and how the seats are configured to. It's never been done before, and it's really remarkable how they're trying to make, and we believe they will when it's all over with, but the best seat configuration to watch two completely different sports. And they're doing it in between seasons, and it's something that's going to go on over the next 3 years. So it's quite fascinating, just from an architectural or a structural kind of engineering feat, just to be able to do it. And of course, we're really excited about where these two franchises. Of course, I have to mention soccer too. We have Major League Soccer here, as well as professional rugby. So we're really stepping up in the world of sports here in the state of Utah. Really excited to have you a part of things, and really appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me on. If I do, I will see you tomorrow night.
Yes, I will be around up there, and I'll be cheering you on, and then also on Thursday when all of our local ESPN radio networks and shows will be up there from 7 in the morning to 6 at night. So really looking forward to it, and just really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me on. You have a good day.
All right, you too. There you go, folks. Scooby Mageza, Sports Center anchor. Great American story. I love to hear all of that stuff. And, of course, anyone associated with sports in any manner, whether it's reporting it or playing it or whatever, is passionate about it. This will be a fun thing for everyone who comes to this event on Thursday. So Utah's ESPN radio network is going to be there. And we'll be broadcasting from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. That includes the Sean O'Connell Show. It also includes my show, The Down and Dirty, and, of course, Spence with The Drive. So you want to come hang out with us. We're going to have T-shirts, tickets to the Athletes Unlimited Softball League, plus you may become famous and get on SportsCenter, which that's been my whole goal in life. Now, I will tell you something, James. When I played football, I did not watch SportsCenter. That was a no-no. I watched SportsCenter after I retired, but when I was playing, I did not watch. I did not watch SportsCenter because I did not want to either be disappointed or because if they tout you, it can get in your head. Like you go, oh yeah, man, I've made it. Or if they're antagonistic towards you, it's kind of you go in the dump, right? Because you feel bad. So at any rate. I did not listen.
You
or
did
watch
get on SportsCenter though.
Scott. Look,
you didn't see it while you were playing, but I'm sure you did get on SportsCenter.
There's actually there's a famous moment in SportsCenter history. Gosh, I can't remember who the host was, and he was giving, and it was his first time broadcasting SportsCenter, and he was giving injury updates in the NFL.
Oh.
And he actually had mentioned my name in the injury update. So it was I had gotten injured against the Chicago Bears, and the next week we were playing the Minnesota Vikings on Thanksgiving, and he was giving, it looks like Scott Mitchell's ankle's okay, and blah blah, and then he listed another couple of players, and he actually said the no. He said a no on the air, and
like a curse word.
No, it was a body part.
Oh, body part. Yeah, okay.
And he couldn't hold it together, and
just started laughing.
Oh my goodness! They started laughing to the end of the world, and he just couldn't hold it in, and then the other co-anchor couldn't hold it in, and they were having a moment, and
it sounds a lot like Charlie Steiner. That was a guy who...
I don't think it wasn't Charlie Steiner, but Charlie might have been the co-host.
He might have been the co-host that lost it too. Because if you go on YouTube,
it's hilarious.
Compilations of Charlie Steiner just losing it on air.
Yes, yeah. And absolutely just comical. Of course, gosh, I can see his face. I just can't remember his name right now. And he's a fairly well-known sports anchor. But nonetheless, it was kind of a bad deal. Okay. Do we have Jeremy online? Okay. So this should be fun. I'm telling you, if you go up and watch, because the batting practice with Scooby is going to be hilarious. Okay, he's going to be in for it. These pitches come at him like at a crazy pace, and if he's never played baseball or anything. Yes, it's going to be a comical thing, but really enjoyed having a conversation with Scooby Mageza from ESPN. All right. We got Jeremy on the line. Jeremy Lieber, Uncommon Day Trading, joins us right now. Jeremy, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Okay, so talk to us about uncommon day trading. What is it? Why do people need to get involved? Because listening to your pitch, it sounds like everyone should be involved in learning how to day trade.
Yeah, it's funny. Most people are attempting to day trade one way or another, regardless whether they know what they're doing or not.
Yeah.
Whether that's on, Robinhood, Webull, some of these apps. So we have created a course where we teach people the fundamentals of, reading charts, proper risk management, profitable strategies. So you can actually, hopefully gain some consistency and start, seeing profits as opposed to majority losses when learning how to invest in the stock market.
All right, so how does it work? How do people find you? How do they get involved? Are they, how quickly can you get into day trading and have success with this?
Yeah, so we have a handful of ways to get involved. Our Instagram page, Uncommon Education Trading, or our website, uncommoneducationtrading.com, kind of goes over the different programs we offer. But essentially, and what I always tell people is it's the same way musicians learn to read music. That's how we teach you how to learn how to read stock charts. And you can start with as little as $500 of income or money set aside to be able to trade with. Our average students are, taking a couple months, 2 to 3 months before they can start seeing real consistency. And then just like most things, it's just being consistent, right? Following the set of rules we have in place, being disciplined with the strategies, not being too greedy or impatient or impulsive. And we've got a really good system to help people get started with zero previous experience. I know a lot of people come in, hearing the word day trading, wanting to know or learn how to get started. But we really, start from here's how you set up your account, here's what the stock market even is, and then go from there.
So day trading, tell people a little bit what is day trading? Why is that different than other types of investing? What markets are you in? What are you actually investing in? What is the focus of day trading for anyone who may be interested?
Yeah, so as opposed to long-term investing, right, where you say, hey, I believe in Tesla or Google or Apple, and you buy stock and you hope that it goes up over time, as day traders, we are entering and exiting positions within the same day, so we're never holding positions overnight. And specifically, we trade options, which allows you to catch bigger moves in the market with less actual movement on the stock, and we kind of explain this, in the different programs we offer. But we really are trading those big name stocks you hear about every day in the news. What's nice is with the stock market right now, as everyone knows, it's very volatile. Lots of ups, lots of downs. And as day traders, we love that because when trading options, you can actually make money when stocks decrease in value or when stocks increase in value. You just need to be able to identify for a short period of time which way it's going to go. And that's what we teach, is we teach you strategies and how to identify these, certain setups and scenarios. Proper risk management whenever you do enter a trade. And then our whole premise is we trade for less than an hour a day. Big misconception is you need all this time. Most people with us are trading before they go into work or head off to school or, at university or whatever the case may be. So it's a very non-intrusive skill set to learn as well, which is nice.
Okay, so I'm not a smart man, but can anyone do this? Can even I do this? And how long realistically before I can kind of start seeing some results?
Yeah, good question. So I went to university for one semester. I played college football at Southern Virginia University. I had to have a 2.0 to stay on the football team, and I got a 2.2. So I am
overachiever.
I do not believe I am a smart man by nature. And so I always tell people if I can do it, literally anyone can do it. I think that's one of the greatest strengths I have in this business is I teach in a simple way because I'm a pretty simple guy. But like I say, most of our students who come in having no experience, we have people who are in their mid-70s, kind of golden years right at the end of, retirement, who come in, barely know how to use a laptop, who start finding success with us. We have stay-at-home moms. We have career businessmen. We have professors. We have kids coming right out of high school, and it really is a universal skill set. Anyone can learn it. And we say if you're fast and you really grasp the concepts quick, you can find success within the first couple months. I'd say on average, we're seeing in that 3 to 5 month range of just consistent effort, being able to, see results. And then some people takes a little bit longer, but just like, kind of losing weight or fitness goals, it's not going to happen overnight, but with just daily consistent effort, it really doesn't take long to start seeing results.
So this is something to supplement someone's income, a little bit extra income, something you can do, and from the confines of your own home, it's flexible in what you can do. It could ultimately be your income. Are those all things that are accurate?
Absolutely. So I've been trading for 9 years now. I was the VP of sales for a marketing company, had a great, job, great stable income, and got to the point where my trading income was surpassing, my 9 to 5 income. So I was able to quit and do this full time. I'd say majority of people who come in and do this are supplementing, a second or third source of income. Even, just a couple hundred extra bucks a day for most people makes a huge difference, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And then for those who are motivated and really start kind of grasping the concepts, we've had dozens of people over the last couple of years who have gone full-time trading with us. And for me, as someone who loves the outdoors, fly fishing, golfing, traveling, spending time with my kids, it's fantastic being able to just trade for an hour in the morning and then kind of do what I please throughout the goal, right? Is we want to get people a little bit more time and freedom back in their lives. So many people, don't get to spend time with loved ones during the day or kind of live for the weekend. And we're trying to flip the script on that by teaching a skill set like day trading.
So go give it a look, folks. I'm sure that it's you can have a free call. You can have a conversation with people. Go to uncommoneducationtrading.com. Tell them that we sent them here from ESPN. Great stuff. Thank you for your time, Jeremy, and I'm sure we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. And again, on our website, you can book a call with me directly. I'd love to chat, give you more information, and hear how we can help. But again, appreciate being here on the call, and go Utes.
Go Utes. All right. Great stuff. Very interesting there. Go to uncommoneducationtrading.com, and it does. You can join today. You can book a call. Very interesting stuff. And there are a lot of different ways to get and improve your income streams, and this is certainly one of them. All right, let's take a break. We come back here around the corner. We have, who do we have, right? Rob Bradford. Bradfo. Baseball Isn't Boring podcast. Talk about the All-Star game and so much more in baseball when the Sean O'Connell Show returns here on ESPN 709.21 FM. Hello, sports fans. Welcome back. I'm so lost in today's show. It's a good thing, by the way. I don't know what time it is. I don't even know if it's day or night outside. All I know is that I'm just totally entrenched in the passion of sports today. I'm in the zone. I can totally feel it. Now, if you notice and you recognize you're in the zone, you're no longer in the zone. You're out. I've learned this. I actually have a very good friend who has taught peak performance to professional athletes for over 40 years. And he talks about the zone phenomenon, how you can actually train yourself to get in the zone. I'll tell you who's in the zone. Cal Raleigh is in the zone. Dude hit 38 home runs so far this season, and, of course, he won the home run derby. To talk about that and so much more, we have Rob Bradford. Bradfro from Baseball Isn't Boring Podcast Network joins us on the program. Rob, welcome to the show. How are you? Hope you're having a great day.
Oh, man, listen, I'm sitting high atop. What is this? Truist Field. I lose track of these fields, what they're named.
Right.
In Atlanta, where Cal Raleigh had his glory last night. And by the way, every time I think of someone getting in the zone, all I can think of is Kevin Costner in the movie For the Love of the Game.
Yes.
Where he just says, clear the mechanism.
Yes.
And which someone had brought up, Mike, who was it? Somebody brought up to me, I know who it was, Dylan Cease the other day. He said, yeah, I would love to see what happens if they had the pitch clock in some of these movies. Kevin Costner's clearing the mechanism, and you're counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, so much for that. So, yeah.
Well, they have to have dramatic effect, and it's like seconds become minutes in those movies in order to push the narrative. Hey, Major League Baseball's All-Star Game is tonight. It sounds like you're right there in the thick of it. It can be heard here, right, on Utah's #1 sports talk, ESPN 70921 FM. Just plugging the program here, but what do we want to look for from? Because I want to get into Cal Raleigh in just a minute, but to talk about the All-Star Game. What's exciting? What's the compelling stories from the All-Star Game tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the things that we got a little bit of a taste of with the home run derby last night is there is definitely a new wave of exciting stars, some of which baseball fans or the casual baseball fans maybe aren't super familiar with. And, we saw it last night with the likes of O'Neal Cruz and Junior Caminero and Byron Buxton and these guys. And now in the All-Star Game, that's what we're going to do. You look at Miz, our guy from Milwaukee, Jacob, and, you pitch in 5 games and you say, why is this guy in the All-Star Game? He's pitched in 5 games, but baseball's not blind to the fight they're in, the battle they're in for perception, for eyeballs, and all of it. And that's what we're talking about. They have to show that they have stars, that they have exciting players. And so they're not going to put in that case, they're not going to put in a middle reliever when they can put in this guy who throws 103.
Right.
So I think so when people are looking for, I'm watching the game, who am I waiting to see? It's guys like that. It's obviously Paul Skeen. It's guys who you like, I heard about this guy, and now I want to get a chance to see him. So I think that's basically what we're looking for, and that's what baseball is trying to do. And to go on a quick little rant here, I am so glad that stupid rule of, they count for home field advantage in the World Series, so we're going to make it seem like this game actually counts up for something. No, that's dumb. That's dumb. Let's just say what it is. What it is, it's an exhibition game. Yeah, it's an exhibition game where you're saying, okay, I get a chance to see guys I don't normally get a chance to see.
You talk about these kind of rising new stars, new names, new faces, and so many of these sports leagues are trying to figure out how to make their all-star, their Pro Bowl or whatever game it is, exciting and entertaining and something people want to tune into. Do you think having some of these new names, because these guys are like, this is my first shot, or that they're going to play harder or try harder? Do you actually think that's a good thing for the game to have kind of young, fresh faces involved?
Yeah, I mean, I think the new guys, they get out there and they don't know the difference. They aren't like getting on their private jet. A lot of them, some of them are, but they're saying, hey, I want to show everybody what I have. I mean, there is definitely that element where you have the younger guys like that. And when you come to, and that's another thing with All-Star games, right, is that everybody's trying to figure out what works. NFL, disaster.
Big time.
NBA, absolute disaster. NHL, they stumbled upon this Four Nations
Yes.
thing where, hey, listen, if you can have a bunch of baseball players go out and brawl, like, then you can get something going, and that's what they did. But they stumbled upon it. Hey, good for them. They got attention in that respect. With baseball, it used to be where it was National League against American League, and they actually cared about representing their respective league.
Right.
You go back to the passing of Dave Parker. You know, we saw that throw he had in the All-Star game, and we remember like how important the reaction that his teammates had to that. That's what we're looking for. But in the meantime, really what you have is a lot of young players getting a chance to do something they probably dreamed of doing for a long time.
Yeah, I think it's a little harder in baseball to fake it, you know, because it's like,
yeah,
you know, just the mechanics of, you know, the pitchers still have to throw the ball. They don't want to have a hitter, hit off them, or the hitter's like, I don't want to be embarrassed, you know. And so I think you get a good effort. You know, I think it's just short periods of time. You know, they make an appearance and then they're kind of out of the game. But the home run derby to me still is just such an exciting. It's one of the best, I think, skills events in any major sport. O'Neal Cruz, you mentioned, hit the second longest home run I think ever at 513 feet. What is it about the home run derby that just makes it so appealing?
Well, I think, you know, so last year with the prospects, they tried doing this skill thing punctuated by the last part of it was home run derby. And the skills thing was a complete disaster. It was awful. It was, nobody wants to see anyone place a bunt. Nobody cares. And then they get to the final element of it, which was the home run derby. And all of a sudden, Roman Anthony rattles off 7 home runs and goes from last to first place. And that's all anyone cared about. The same thing. The answer to your question is because people like home runs. I mean, people like the spectacle that is hitting a ball over 500 feet of the anticipation of where it is going to land in the stands. And being at a home run derby is so cool. You know, it's, I know that you can see it on TV, but it is one of the things that is so cool being at. Last night, for instance, I go out to left field. Junior Camaro's up. I know he's going to be pulling balls all over the place. So I'm videotaping every single one. One guy catches one of the balls, which is great. And then a few times later, his buddy gets hit in the eye with a ball. I mean, it was like all this stuff is the trajectory of the ball, it's where it's landing, it's the reaction. And then for the home run derby, it's how excited the players are as well. I mean, that's a cool as well. I thought it was pretty good. And I think that this time around, I thought it took it up a level because of exactly what we were talking about before. The new players who are in it, the dynamic players who are in it, who have these skill sets which are just so unique.
So Cal Raleigh, of course, he won it. His dad pitched to him, and his younger brother was the catcher. What did you get from all of that?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, this is yay baseball, right? It's like we want moments like that. We want. And then you have the video of little Cal, like, you know, about, you know, 20 years ago or whatever it was, you know, all of it. We can't forget that, you know, for these, some people might not like baseball, whatever, that's their prerogative to be wrong. But it's for the people here, this is such a huge moment for Cal Raleigh having his dad pitch to him like he has all those years upon years upon years. Pitch to him and then do it on this stage is incredible. And obviously having his brother, like all of it is incredible. And this is why, and not to get all, you know, we do the baseball is a boring thing and, you know, it's easy to talk about baseball, but I do come across people and it is such a fabric of their upbringing. And I think that to see a moment like last night, the fabric of the upbringing was put on stage for Cal Raleigh and his family. What that was a microcosm of what a lot of people, even like bad baseball players in Little League, in high school, whatever it is, where your dad is throwing to you, your brother's there catching, all of it. It was, and I'm getting very sappy now, but still, we have to take a pause every once in a while and understand like the reality of the situation.
Oh, we love Sappy here in Utah. You know, we've got a great minor league team in the Salt Lake Bees, and then there's a real push by the Miller family, who, of course, owned the Utah Jazz for so many years, to bring Major League Baseball, and it seems to be more and more a reality. What's kind of some of the things going on? I believe the weren't the Rays. They were someone bought the Rays, if I remember right.
Yeah, someone bought the Rays. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's kind of maybe your takeaway on the first half of the season, where baseball is right now, and what we can look forward to in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously there's a lot of teams in it. The trade deadline talk is, I'm about to go down the clubhouse to talk to these players, and what we're going to talk a lot about is trade deadline, getting trades, having trades, being traded, whatever it is. That's going to dominate for the next couple of weeks in baseball. And there's more and more teams who actually feel like they're sort of in it, so they can actually be buyers rather than sellers.
Right.
So I think that'll dominate the conversation. But I don't know if there's a dominant team. I think that's one of the takeaways. I know Detroit has a really good record. I know the Dodgers, for all their injuries, they're obviously really, really good. The Cubs are really, really good. The Phillies. You go down the list, but I don't think there's a team that say, hey, if you get into the playoffs, you're going to roll. And that's not a terrible thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And So and then when you talk about the Rays, a sort of a subplot that sort of percolated yesterday and today was this dynamic of, if the Rays do get in, they would have to play in that 10,000 seat George Steinbrenner Field for the playoffs. And, I was talking to Casey Mize of Detroit yesterday. He was very honest. He's like, that's not playoff baseball, playing for 10,000 people. Like, that's not it. So there are a lot of bumps in the road for baseball, whether it's the ABS system, whether it's that, whatever it is. But at the heart of it, I think you have a lot of fan bases are really, really excited about the second half.
Yeah, you talk about the trade deadline. I agree too, and there are teams that are close. Are there guys out there that now kind of move the needle? I know, like a team like the Yankees, they might be in the market in the trade world. Who out there could really benefit from making a trade the most, I guess?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think this is the thing. Every team who's in it can make that case. Then the Dodgers GM Brandon Gomes had said to me in the offseason, he's like, our goal is to get to the trade deadline and be able to be in a position where you don't have to make a trade. You're not desperate, because when you get in that position, the trade deadline, you're going to pay 3x. You're going to pay 3 times what you normally would. So but unfortunately, it happens. The Dodgers in that situation. Every team is basically in a situation where they need something. And, you talk about names, potential names. The hardest thing to get in baseball at the trade deadline is a top-of-the-rotation starting pitcher. That's why Joe Ryan's name has come up, even though the Twins say, oh, well, we're not going to trade him. Well, we'll see in the next couple of weeks. Zach Gallen is another one who would be a rental. Those sort of guys, like the guys who maybe have shown that they can do it on the big stage, for me, like those are the guys I'm going to target. I think that goes a long, long way, in not only in terms of the playoffs, but in terms of the road getting to the playoffs.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch, and really excited for you to be there at the All-Star Game. Hope it's a great event, and really appreciate your time. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah. Listen, I love the All-Star Game. I love, we get the chance to see a lot of people that we don't normally get a chance to see the course of the season, and baseball's put on the stage, and all roads lead to the ESPYs, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what it's a dead time, but like I think there is something to, like, okay, let's take a breath. Let's appreciate the day and go from here. And I appreciate you having me on to vent a little bit about the great game of baseball. Thanks.
Well, you speak well of the game, and hopefully tonight you get hit in the eye with a baseball. That would just, I think.
Yeah, that's it. I gotta. It'd be a whole lot cheaper than $100 T-shirt. That's for sure. Let's go.
All right, have a good one. Thanks for being on the show, and enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, thank you. I'll see you.
All right, there you have it. Rob Bradford, Baseball Isn't Boring podcast. And if you talk to Rob, he is not boring. And I don't think baseball's boring at all. I actually love baseball. And, there's a lot of great names and personalities in baseball, and some some emerging guys as well. So be fun to kind of see where baseball goes the rest of the season and when we get into the World Series. Let's take a break right now. We come back. Scotty Scheffler just says, I like to win, but winning is kind of shallow and not very meaningful. We'll talk about that and so much more. Let's see. As the Sean O'Connell show goes along, Live Night Events presents the 2025 Granary Live Concert Series, powered by Nightingale College and Murdoch Hyundai, Utah's #1 Hyundai dealer. Experience outdoor concerts in the heart of downtown Salt Lake City's Granary District. Find more details on ESPN700sports.com. We'll be back talking about Scotty Scheffler. He's bored with winning here on the Sean O'Connell Show, ESPN 700 921 FM. Hey, sports fans, welcome back. It is the Sean O'Connell Show here on ESPN 792 FM, Utah's number one sports talk. I'm Scott Mitchell filling in for Sean today, tomorrow, and yesterday, and forever. No, not forever, but anyway, so good to be here, good to be with you. Fun program. I'm telling you, I'm in the zone today, and I'm lost. I have no concept of time and where we are. I did come across this very interesting conversation with Scottie Scheffler, the number one player in the world in golf. And he is really kind of taken the whole thing by storm. The Open Championship starts rather soon, this Thursday. And Scottie had this comment to say, he goes, this is not a fulfilling life. Winning is not, it's boring. From the sense of accomplishment, it's not that fulfilling. So this is a guy that's won the Masters. He's won, umpteen events. He's a very young player. He really is in a position to be one of the greatest of all time by the time it's all over. He's just been phenomenal. But he says it's not fulfilling from the sense of the deepest places of your heart. And what he meant by this, he goes, here's my dilemma. Here is the problem. Here is the duality of my position here is I'm so freaking competitive. Like when I go and play in the Masters or I'm at the Open Championship, I want to win this event. Like I love to go to practice. I love the preparation. I love being out there. I love competing. I'm a fierce competitor and I want to win. And he goes, the problem is after you win, it's like, okay, on to next week. And a lot of people who have won championships have had that same kind of reaction. Like you think, okay, I win the Super Bowl, and man, I'm going to be on cloud nine for like a month, for like months, decades. And everyone goes, yeah, okay, you win. It's all exciting and all that stuff. And then you're just exhausted. You're just tired, and you're literally on to next year. And that's the sad commentary of sports. Which is what Scottie Scheffler said. He goes, I am on to the next week. If I win, if I lose, if I take fourth place, if I take last place, it's like it doesn't matter. I'm on to the next week. And there's part of me that, I get it. Like I get the whole idea of, and it is that way. Sports just moves on. It really does. It's like it doesn't wait for anyone. It's like next up. It's not even like in the NFL. You play well and you have a good year. They're like, okay, well, what have you done for me lately? And the old saying, it's the NFL, not for long if you don't take care of business right now and today. And so it's a very fleeting. It's a very disposable kind of feeling you get when you win a championship. Now. That being said, I'd take that moment. Look, I was going to say. It's like, fine, I win a Super Bowl, and I'll be sad in 20 minutes. Give me that 20 minutes. Give me that 20 minutes to be the champion. I think where you really appreciate the success you have is after it's all over, and then you have time to go back and reflect upon things and go, wow, that was pretty special. That was pretty amazing. It was incredible. What we did in those moments. I remember in being in Detroit, and we had a fullback named Tommy Vardell. Tommy Touchdown Vardell. Of course, he played at Stanford, drafted like first round with the Cleveland Browns. He was a fullback. He ended up going to the 49ers for several years, and then he came to Detroit. And we won a game, and it was early, on his first season there. And he goes, man, this is exciting here. Like, you guys really appreciate winning. He goes, when I was in San Francisco, we'd go 12-4 or 13-3, and people weren't happy about any of it. Like nothing. Whenever you won, it was just like, okay, next week, next thing, and the only time we'll ever get excited is when we win a Super Bowl. And he said, it's just you really appreciate, and I appreciate, is what he said, being here, and that you guys actually value and celebrate a win. And of course, we'll take a win, we'll take whatever we can get. In some situations. So it's a fascinating statement. I think it's a very honest statement from Scottie Scheffler about the shallowness of actually winning, and that it really doesn't last for very long. In fact, if you think about championships, it's hard to go back a couple of years and go, who won the championship a couple of years? Like who won the Major League Baseball championship, the World Series 3 years ago? I don't know. Who won the Super Bowl 3 years ago? Maybe the Chiefs, maybe the Patriots, someone. Who knows? I don't know that we remember. It could have been. I don't know. Was that when the Rams won? I mean, you just forget so quickly, and all of it. NBA championship. I'll bet in 2 years ago they won't even remember OKC won the championship. That we hardly know they won it this year, and it's just a funny dynamic. All right, let's take a break. I thought that was an interesting conversation, and perspective from Scotty Scheffler. But we're gonna leave for a minute because we want to, because we can, and we're gonna get to what's his name, old Jordan Wynn, in a minute. The Athletes Unlimited Softball League is coming to Salt Lake City July 16th through the 19th at Dumke Family Softball Stadium at the University of Utah. Watch these legendary AUSL pro softball players on the Blaze and Talons battle it out, including Bree Ellis, Aliyah Andrews, Utah's own Hannah Flippin, and many more. To learn more, go to theausl.com, theausl.com, pronounced AUSL.com, and get your tickets today. The AUSL is legendary. We'll give a pair of tickets to Saturday's game during topical trivia around 1:45 today. That's coming up not too long. All right, this is Sean O'Connell Show. Jordan Wynn when we return on ESPN 792.1 FM. Hello, sports fans. Welcome on in. It's the Sean O'Connell Show here on ESPN 792.1 FM. Of course, we're proud to be a part of ESPN's Utah Radio Network. If you miss part of the show, don't worry about it. You can go to ESPN700sports.com, listen live. You can go to the ESPN 700 app, wherever you get your apps. The smart speaker, just tell it to play ESPN 700. And, of course, we're on YouTube at ESPN 700 Sports Utah. Oh, it's been a fun show, a fun day, a lot of very compelling conversations and discussions about all topics of sports. And right now, we're going to have an amazing conversation with Jordan Wynn, former Utah quarterback extraordinaire, joins us on the program. Jordan, welcome to the show. How are you doing today? How's your day?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Scott?
Oh, I'm always happy when I get to talk to a former Utah quarterback because we understand things like no one else does. We can have a conversation. We can have a conversation without even having a conversation and have an understanding that just people don't get. So it's always good to do that. What are you up to these days, Jordan? What's going on?
Yeah, never thought I'd say this, but I live in Utah County now. Live down in Lehigh.
You have crossed and entered the dark side, dude. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I'm just trying to, make this county more red is really why I came down here. I'm doing the hard work down here and just trying to convert everybody.
Hey, I understand that. Believe me, I grew up in that place, so I know. Yeah. And I will tell you this: there's more red there than you think. There's a lot of red in Utah County. Yeah. Do not be deceived.
Totally.
Well, good for you. I appreciate you doing the hard work for us down there. So Utah's had a tough go of it the last couple of years with Cam Rising and the quarterback situation. Feels like they have a great solution in Devin Dampier. And we all know that everyone sounds amazing, and we're going to have the best season, the best players before it starts. What's a realistic expectation in your mind about the play of Devin Dampier this year and the Utes and where they will stack up against the rest of the Big 12?
Yeah, I think, it feels like every year it's the year, which I guess is a good place to be. We could be sitting here saying, is the team going to win more than 2 or 3 games or some sort of that poor expectation? But I think, you look at the last, I don't know how many years of Utah football, and it really just comes down to the team goes as far as the QB goes. When the QB is healthy, the team usually performs at a pretty high level. When he's not, and you got to get into the second and third guy, then there's usually a drop-off. And so, yeah, there's a lot of buzz around Devin. I've seen clips of him. I know he can move around. I know he can spin it. Talking to folks up there that I still keep in touch with, they're pretty excited about him. I think the roster is pretty loaded. You look at the guys up front. Having a top 10 projected, pick at tackle is always a great place to be. The defense will always perform. I don't know. I think realistic expectations, if you win 9 or 10 games, that's a pretty darn good season in today's world of football.
And more than likely 9 or 10 games get you competing for the championship, right? It's just the conference is kind of balanced and things are the way they are. Coach Whittingham it's interesting to watch his evolution as a head coach. Been a head coach for 21 years. I think he's the tied for the longest tenure as a coach in the country. He's been consistently a successful coach. What was your experience with him like, and what do you think has played into why he's had such consistent long-term success?
Yeah, my experience, I have nothing but great things to say about Coach Witt. He was incredible during recruiting. He was incredible to me during my time there. Was very patient with me, obviously, with the injuries and surgeries that I had. What stood out the most, and I know it's different for different folks, but for me, his level of personability. I mean, he knew, gosh, all my immediate family by first name. Was, anytime I bumped into him in the hallway, it was, how's your dad? How's your siblings? And so I have nothing but positive things to say about him. He's a defensive-minded guy, and so we didn't have a ton of crossover in terms of, scheme and strategy. But he was awesome. And I think the reason for the consistency is, it sounds funny to say this, but he knows who he is, and the team takes on his identity, and he hasn't wavered from that. I mean, he, has certainly changed over, the last 21 years, but I mean, it's still the same plan to win. The same things, are talked about on a daily basis in that building. And you look at, also his ability to evolve and, adjust for the gameplay that's changed and spread offenses, the adjustment that's had to be made over the last couple of years with NIL and recruiting. And, it's no surprise that he's had the level of success, as long as he has.
You bring up a defensive-minded coach and the fact that you didn't cross pass a lot. Was that ever stifling to you? Because I think the perception out there is he kind of has put the brakes on the offense from time, and maybe he kind of meddles in, play calling and what's happening, and the offense hasn't had the consistent success that the defense has had. But yet, to your point, it was a really good one about when the quarterback plays well and is healthy, this team goes places. What was what did you experience that? Was it stifling sometimes? Because I personally don't want to play for a defensive-minded coach as a quarterback, but I don't know what was he like really?
Yeah, I didn't feel like it was stifling, and again, my years hold true to the statement I made earlier. When I was healthy, and this is not a knock on anyone that came in and played when I went down, but when I was healthy, you look at the 2009 years and the 2010 year. I would say our offense was like pretty prolific.
Yeah.
We threw the ball a ton and spread it out, and so when I hear people say he's a bit stifling and medals, I can't help but chuckle a little bit. I certainly think he has. I mean, he's the head guy; he can do whatever he wants, and so if he wants to chime in and say, run the football or what have you, again, that's why he, is in the seat he's in. But, in terms of like my personal relationship and my personal, past, I didn't think he was stifling at all. Like I said, I think those first 2 years before I started really getting hurt and having surgeries, the playbook was completely open. Not only from a play calling standpoint, but also from a level of freedom for myself. I mean, I was changing the play almost every other play, changing protections, and certainly didn't feel like the brakes were put on me ever. And I would say most of the QBs, when healthy, especially if they're the starter, would probably echo, similar sentiments. Like, I think, where he can get perceived as meddling is like at the end of the day, it's he as well as I and as well as every quarterback are judged on wins and losses. And again, like the success he's had, it's hard to argue with his judgment and his decision making and things like that. So I personally didn't mind it. I've talked to other people that have played for offensive-minded head coaches that aren't the play caller, and it gets a little convoluted in terms of like a play caller and coordinator day in and day out, and then also having the head coach chime in. It's, if there's too many chiefs, that's a pretty bad sign that there's not one chief. Too many cooks in the kitchen is a problem. And so I personally love playing for Kyle and thoroughly enjoyed having a defensive-minded head coach. Didn't mind it one bit, but if you have a head guy, that calls the plays and is heavily involved, I'm sure that's also pretty enjoyable and fun.
Yeah, my sense is that if he meddles, it's more on the defensive side.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like,
yeah.
He's probably in Morgan's ear more than anyone.
Yeah.
And so I have nothing but good things. gosh, I threw the ball a lot before I was getting hurt, and so I didn't feel like he middled.
See, I don't know if I should say this, but like if you hadn't got hurt, you would have just blown through all the records I had there. So
I appreciate you saying that. Some of yours are pretty dang hefty, so I don't know.
nah.
But,
Well, you started way early, and I was like, oh man, he's gonna take them all. It's gonna be.
I would have liked to think that I would have got close, and gosh, the sky truly was the limit prior to getting hurt. I mean, we were throwing the ball all over the place. I was having a lot of fun, and gosh, unfortunately, it's the game we play. It's a dangerous game.
Yeah, and you just had some horrible breaks. Seriously, it's just it's just my heart goes out to you. In my era, we had to throw. It's like, so it was kind of out of necessity, and that was about the only thing we could do. And if we were going to win any games, we had to throw it a lot. So it wasn't all too bad. You talk about this new era of college football, and it appears that like if you're going to have a successful program, you have to invest the money. And do you think Utah, and really this is more maybe for the boosters, maybe it's for the leadership of the school, athletic director and president, do you think Utah is poised to be in a position to actually compete financially with some of these other programs because it just felt like there was just such a beautiful trajectory out of the Mountain West into the Pac-12 and being competitive and winning championships and really kind of having a national presence. Can Utah still do that with the knowing you're going to have to put money where your mouth is and pay these players to bring them to the school?
Yeah, I think they can. Now, from a pure just dollar for dollar standpoint, probably not. You look at like the budget Texas and Ohio State have, and some of the numbers that have come out in terms of the payroll, so to speak, of their football rosters. It gets pretty exorbitant pretty fast. I don't know if Utah can put up $25 to $30 million year in and year out for a football roster, but right. You look at what's made them successful. And just being really, really great evaluators of talent and finding what I would call like high ROI guys that maybe don't, demand this high dollar amount, but can still perform at a really high level. I mean, you look at like my class and guys, a few years before and after me, we weren't necessarily the 5-star guy that had every offer. They found us, they developed us, and did a really good job of that. I think that's where Kyle truly thrives, and most of the staff and the recruiting aspect and finding guys that have really high upsides. And so they just got to do the same thing with NIL and stuff. Find these guys that, the numbers start to get pretty ridiculous, but find guys that maybe aren't, commanding $4 million right out of high school and develop them and build them. And then, I would argue in today's game, it's almost more prevalent to recruit, so to speak, your current roster and keep those guys. And I think that's where the challenge could potentially hit for Utah is, you recruit a guy and develop them and the larger NIL schools come in and start throwing dollars around, and it's hard to turn down. I mean, as a 19 or 20-year-old, if somebody comes in and says, hey, we're going to double, triple what you're getting paid currently, there's no guarantees in football. And so,
yeah.
Gosh, it'd be, there's loyalty, and then there's just being business smart. And if you're a 20-year-old and, you're getting paid whatever, and a couple $100,000, which is even crazy to say that, but somebody comes in and offers you $1 million or $2 million, it'd be pretty tough to turn down just because it's, you can go out and, I'm a perfect example. You can go out and get hurt the next day. And so, there's a loyalty factor. There's a business sense factor. This all plays in. I look at how best to keep your guys. It's like, hey, just, give us a chance. If we can get close, then obviously stay here. If not, and, somebody comes in and does something crazy, like, that's where Utah has to be smart and create these values, so to speak, for players. You watch NFL teams, they have to do the same thing. You look at, for better or worse, they have to make these choices. Saquon Barkley is a great example. The Giants felt like his value maybe wasn't as high as the Eagles did. What can you do? Hindsight's 20/20. The guy goes and rips it. At the end of the day, it's a business, and dollars matter. And Utah certainly doesn't have an endless budget, and so they have to, be smart with where they allocate their money, and again, find these guys that they can develop, and then keep them and retain them.
Yeah. This is the Sean O'Connell Show here on ESPN 792.1 FM. Scott Mitchell filling in for Sean today. I'm having a conversation here with former Utah quarterback Jordan Wynn. Jordan, Coach Whittingham said a couple of things this offseason, and it made me think, his time might be pretty short. One of the things he said was, I couldn't go out with that taste of last season in my mouth. The season was just so hard to swallow, and it was so frustrating. We had such high expectations, and that made me think, well, maybe he was going to, and now he said, no, I'm not going to end it that way. So maybe this year might be his last year. And then in the Big 12 media days, he was asked about Morgan Scalley as the coach in waiting, and Morgan will be the head coach at the University of Utah when Kyle steps down. It feels like it's going to be soon. Maybe it's at the end of this season. Where is the football program when Morgan Scalley takes over? What do you think he'll be able to do with this program when he's the guy in charge?
I think it'll just continue on the same trajectory. I have, an incredible amount of respect for Morgan. I think he's one of the brighter football minds in the country. I think he's proven that, calling the defense week in and week out. The guy is an absolute student of the game still to this day, and his ability to pick up on things in the film room is truly incredible, and then have the confidence to call it on Saturday. And I don't see the program missing a beat. I think Morgan is as Utah as it gets, obviously played there, has only coached there. And so I'm excited for the trajectory of the program. I think it'll be great. I think, to your point, Kyle probably, I've said it a few times, if Utah wins either of those Rose Bowls, he might have rode off into the sunset. And so I do think his time is coming to an end, which is always interesting and what can happen. But I don't think there's a better person waiting than Morgan Scalley.
You mentioned kind of the sunset kind of comes and it ends. How hard was it for you after you were done playing to kind of move on in your life and adjust to life after football? Because it happens for all of it. It's happened for me. I'm curious what that experience looked like for you.
Yeah. It's hard. I think I talk to people about it all the time that are done playing their sport, whether it's collegiately, professionally, or even in high school. It's, you invest so much time. I invested my entire life from age, from my earliest memories to age 22 are playing football. And that's, you invest all your time. You think it's your future. You think it's, frankly, your identity. And so it was tough, initially, and I think that's why I got into coaching for a bit and quickly realized coaching is nowhere near the same as playing. And so, truthfully, I probably moved on, maybe 3 or 4 years after I was done playing. And,
yeah.
You just get into life and you realize it is just a game. I'm fortunate to have an absolutely incredible, beautiful wife, Brittany, and 2 beautiful kids. And that's my identity. And I love every second of it. And the days are so incredibly fun. And, my son Eli he just turned 4 and he's in jiu-jitsu and t-ball and played soccer, and being able to invest into him and spend so much time with him, and, watching my daughter Ari, starting to walk and run, and she can throw. And, you start to realize, especially the older you get, it's a beautiful game. It was so much fun, and it did, was a huge part of my life. But there are other things to life, and I'm very fortunate to live the life that I live and love every second of it. But it's definitely an adjustment period, but we all get told no at some point, whether it's through injuries, whether it's by age, talent. You can't play the game forever. Father Time is undefeated for a reason, and so, it's at 26. I feel like I was 25, 26. I was pretty moved on and accepting of the future. And again, you dive in and make it, tackle it with the same tenacity that I did playing quarterback. And gosh, it's a beautiful life we get to live. It's I'd argue there's probably no better time in the history of humanity, than where we're at with all the incredible things we have access to, and fortunate to live in the beautiful state of Utah. I mean, gosh, you look out your window and there's mountains that look like they look fake. They look like a screensaver, and just love every second of it. And I feel like I've been fortunate again to have some great things in my life, and am incredibly happy and excited about the future as a husband and dad.
Well said, and boy, can I relate to it. And just it took me 3 years to get it out of my system after I was done, and I really understand.
Yeah.
Someone told me, they said, you'll find things out about yourself that you didn't need when you were playing. You only needed like the football muscle, and it was it was almost one dimensional, and you'll find greater dimension in your talents and your interests in your life once you're away from it. And it sounds like that's been the case for you. So good for you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No, it's awesome.
Thanks for joining today. It's always fun to catch up with you, and best of luck with everything you're doing. And thanks for all you said today, and have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, you too, Scott. I'm sure I'll see you around, and always love our discussions.
All right. Look forward to it. There you have it, folks. Jordan Wynn, former Utah quarterback, of course. I was really curious about his insight with Coach Whittingham, and just kind of because I think Kyle does kind of stay out of the way of the offense. Maybe he should get more involved. Who knows? All right. Listen, SportsCenter will be live at Dumke Family Stadium for the Athletes Unlimited Softball League Salt Lake Tournament Thursday, July 17th. Utah's ESPN Radio Network will be live at the stadium from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., including the Sean O'Connell Show from 11 to 2, and the Down and Dirty, which is what I get to do, from 10 to 11. Join us for a chance to be on SportsCenter. That's right, you can be famous. And we'll be giving away ESPN T-shirts and tickets to the Athletes Unlimited softball games. Right around the corner, we're going to do some reconnaissance on our friends down south, Kalani Sitake's press conference from Media Days, when we return on the Sean O'Connell Show here on ESPN 700, 92.1 FM. Hello, sports fans. Welcome back. Oh, what a fun day today. Man, I have just enjoyed the heck out of today. I don't know why. Just love to talk about sports. This is the Sean O'Connell Show here on ESPN 792.1 FM, Utah's #1 sports talk. I'm Scott Mitchell, filling in for OC today and tomorrow. And, of course, I do the Down and Dirty here from 10 to 11 on ESPN 792.1 FM. Utah County listeners. That's right. I'm talking to you folks. We just had a conversation with Jordan Wynn. He lives down in Utah County. He's a Utah guy. Utes and Cougars can live together in harmony and happiness. We need your help. Can you help children at the Road Home start school in style? Stop by the Advocates in American Fork. Pick up an apple from the tree, and you can supply clothing and a backpack for a child at the Road Home. Every child deserves an advocate. Stop by today. See ESPN700sports.com for more details. Hey, just go help out the kids, would you please? All my people down in Utah County, please go help out the kids. Speaking of Utah County, speaking of our brethren to the south, we're going to listen to Kalani Sitake, his press conference at Big 12 Media Days right now. And then I'm going to react to what Coach Kalani Sitake had to say.
All right, let's go live now to BYU head coach Kalani Sitake.
Appreciation to the leadership of the Big 12, Commissioner Yormark and his staff, and everyone that put so much effort into making this an amazing day for our coaches and also for our players. Look forward to answering any questions you guys may have, but before I do that, I want to first also express my appreciation to all the partners, all the schools that are involved in the Big 12 Conference, especially the head coaches. It's amazing when you look at the talent in our teams and our programs, but I look at the head coaches and they're being able to get to know them, and I appreciate their friendship and their kindness to me. It's been really helpful for me being in this conference with them, and I look forward to competing with them on the field. It's an honor for us to compete on the field with them and their programs. And I also want to express our appreciation to our fans, BYU, and specifically our student body and our alumni, and also the faculty and staff that work at BYU. Also want to officially recognize our president, C. Shane Reese, and also Keith Warkink, our vice president. And also want to personally welcome our athletic director, Brian Santiago. Brian is in a new role as the athletic director. I've been around him for the last 10 years, and I've seen his leadership and his commitment. He was Tom Homo's right-hand man, and I'm glad and I'm excited to follow his leadership and to work with him, not only in our BYU football program, but also in the athletic department and at the university. Also want to let our players know how much I appreciate them, and we have 5 young men that are out here representing the team. The difficult part is that I think I could have chosen from about 30 leaders that I think will do a great job speaking here for our program in media days. But we have on our offensive side, we have L.J. Martin and Chase, who's a running back, and a receiver, Chase Roberts. On the defensive side, we have linebackers, Jack Kelly and Isaiah Glasker, and defensive tackle, Keanu Tanuvasa. That being said, I want to open up the floor for you guys to ask me any questions and get this thing started. Thank you.
Senator.
Tyler Budge, CF Budge. Coach, in the face of some off-the-field distractions this offseason, you said a little bit ago that every team develops its own identity. In the face of this uncertainty, what identity have you seen start to emerge with your group, or is that something that you don't fully see until the fall?
I think the identity is still a work in progress. I think you have to have a foundation that's set on some principles, and you have to have a mission that you want your program to follow through with. So we have all those in place, but I think there's room for flexibility for our team to find their own identity, and that's usually done with the leaders and the team itself. I would love for me to speak for them, but you have 5 young men that can do that, and I think as we go throughout the year, we'll start to establish their identity, not only on the field, but off the field. So I'm looking forward to the leadership, and there's so much excitement and energy around our program, and that's a big part of what the players and how they conduct themselves.
Again, if you have a question, please raise your hand. Our microphone holders will go to you. We'll go here to center left.
Drake Toll, Locked On Big 12. Coach, losing a senior quarterback, how has the locker room reacted to that, and where is the QB battle set?
Yeah, I think well, first of all, there's competition in every position. So I think the one that gets the most attention is quarterback in every program. But everybody in our program, has to be competitive, and you have to fight for your spot. And then you have to balance that with loving each other and mentoring and taking care of each other. So that's a fine line that I mentioned before. All the head coaches do a great job at doing that in their programs. I think for me, it's just allowing the guys to compete. In the quarterback room, we have, I mean, if you're going to play at BYU, you have to be able to throw the ball. So we have guys that can sling the ball, and they all have different skill sets. The fortunate part for me is I have a coaching staff that was able to keep intact, and so there's always a knowledge of the offense for the guys that are there, and then we have incoming talent that I think could be really special for us. So let's settle it on the field, let them compete, and then I only know one way, and I just play the best guys. That's how it works.
Okay, we have a question here in the center, third row.
Jason Christensen, the Daily Universe. Good to see you, Coach. With the recent events this last few weeks, there's been a lot of attention to the honor code, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on what it means to you to be at a university that has an honor code, and what role it plays for you as a coach and a mentor of these young men.
Yeah, our university is, we're sponsored and affiliated with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So there's a level of expectation, a standard that we ask our student athletes and our students all together to live by. Every school has their standards. We have ours too, and our expectations. We have an academic expectation as well. So if young people don't fit the academic criteria, then they don't get in school. So these are just part of the things that you have to be committed to, and we expect our students to live according to what they signed up for.
Okay, we have a question here in the center left.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. Coach, just to be clear, you don't anticipate Jake being a part of the program going forward, is that correct?
I think right now, I mean, first of all, I love Jake Retzloff. We love Jake Retzloff and appreciate all that he's done for our program. I think it would be inappropriate for me to make a statement in his situation first. I think that's his right. I think it's a private matter that he can speak for himself, and I'm going to give him the opportunity to do that.
Kalani, Jake Hatch, Locked On Podcast Network. Just wanted to ask you, in your opinion, looking ahead to this upcoming season, what's different about this team versus previous iterations of your football program?
We'll figure it out. We'll find out. I mean, my job as a head coach is to make sure that we're playing at our best. Did we do that last year? Not consistently enough for me. And so I've got a lot of things to work on and a lot of things that I've learned from quite a bit. I mean, I'm going into my 10th year as a head coach, and so I'd like to say that I'm kind of older now and hopefully wiser, but I do know one thing: if we're going to make any improvement, it's got to start with me first, and then I think everybody can figure out how to get that much better themselves. And so I'm going to focus on things that I can do, which is control the team and give them an opportunity and a culture, an environment where they can really thrive, whether if they're a new and incoming player or if they're someone that's developed in our program throughout the years.
Okay, we have a question, center left.
JT Wissersell, Locked On Utes. Kalani, how has BYU's recruiting really transformed a monster class this year, and what do you think of the individuals you brought in?
Well, I think the key has been just the invite to the Big 12 Conference, first of all. When this thing all started, first of all, I got the job. We were an independent team. When I grew up cheering for BYU as a young kid, we were in the WAC, then we went in the Mountain West and went to Independence. So the difference was the change, and first of all, the leadership that Tom Homo had with us as athletic director. He did an amazing job. He's retired now and probably got his toes in the sand right now, but his leadership was amazing. He was able to work with Brian Santiago and his staff and get this program ready to enter a power conference like the Big 12. And so when that opportunity came, when I first got the job, he asked me what we want to get done, and the goal was to play the best that we can, even with an independent schedule, try to get the toughest teams on our schedule. and we'll learn from the experiences as we did that throughout the years. And following his leadership, I think it's prepared the entire program and other sports the opportunity to just kind of be prepping for the enter into the Big 12. So when we got invited, that was kind of the change. Where now we're in the Power Conference, and thankful to the Big 12 for inviting us into the conference. But we saw things change, not just from resources, but also just it just kind of settled a lot of arguments for people not to come to BYU. And so now going to our third year, we feel like we're in a good momentum and got some good things going. But all that had to happen with what Tom Homo did for us in the 2 decades that he was the AD.
All right, we have time for one final question. Third row.
Sam Foster, Daily Universe. Just going off that 2026 recruiting class is one of the best in BYU history. Now that students they decommit a lot and they transfer a lot more than in previous years, how do you make sure that these students that you're recruiting for 2026 stay with this program, and a lot of them are going to go on missions? How do you make sure that you keep them on board for years to come?
That's my job. I have to do a great job at creating an environment that they want to be a part of, and a lot of that is understanding them and creating an environment where they want to be focused on getting a degree. I think the transferring quite a bit is you lose credits, and we got to get the focus right back on the students getting and earning a degree. And so that's what we're going to focus on, and I want to develop them in a lot of different ways. A lot of the young men that are coming back into our program through the transfer portal, we recruited the first time. So I'd like to get it right the first time. It seems like we're doing better now than we did before. So let's just try to do that and hang on to them. I'd rather do it that way and get it right. And that's on me. If I'm not able to retain them, then that's my fault.
All right, there you have it, folks. Kalani Sitake, head football coach at the Brigham Young University. You know, as you listen to Kalani, and I thought he's done a remarkable job at BYU. I think there was a lot of, he's just kind of the only choice we have when he was hired. Maybe he wasn't certain people's pick. I don't know. They felt like the program had to get back to, hey, our roots of who we were, and so they hired a lot of former players as coaches, and Kalani didn't feel like that was the best way to go for the program, so he let go of Ty Detmer and Mike Empey and some of those guys, and that was a tough decision. I'm a huge fan of Ty Detmer. I'm a huge fan of Kalani Sitake. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him making those tough decisions, and independence is not an easy thing. And you put that on top of BYU and its uniqueness as a university, and what makes it unique is it's not necessarily appealing to a lot of young men who most of them aren't LDS, and drinking and having premarital sex is kind of a common thing. And to ask them to refrain from that when it's so much of a culture of so many people, especially football people in the country, and say, okay, go out and have a good program, but you're very limited in who you can bring in here for a lot of reasons. We're independent, and we have a very conservative view of how young people should live their lives. That's hard. That's a tall order. I think it's one that can be met and have success, and he's done that. And Kalani talked so much about how he's really grown as a coach in the last 10 years, and I echo that immensely. I think he has really grown into that role. And I think the one thing, if you said why is it, I think because Kalani has totally embraced the culture of BYU. He's a BYU guy. He grew up cheering for the team. He played for the team. He understands BYU probably better than any coach they could get. Is he the very, very best coach in college football? I don't know if he's the very, very best, but he's really good. He is very good. And he's just really been excellent in his understanding and embracing the culture of BYU. And what that makes him is it makes him authentic. It makes him real. I think he's the guy that's really matured and grown as a coach. And people can respect that his first year in the Big 12 was not pretty. He's had some ugly years. I mean, he's had some years where the team was, didn't do well, and he has rode every single storm, just incredibly. And they have a storm at BYU right now. They have a storm with Jake Retzlaff there. It's going to be a challenge for them. I don't care what anyone says. It's going to be a challenge. So we'll see what kind of impact it has on the season. But he's been through a lot of stuff, and he does. He's got a tremendous coaching staff there now. Guys that he's starting to build some continuity with, and I think you look at what Kyle Whittingham has done at the University of Utah, and that's a lot of the success has been the continuity of what's going on there. So you just have to, Kalani's been well prepared, well schooled, and has handled so much of everything that he has been dealt with as a head football coach. So it's going to be a fascinating year. It's going to be fascinating to see that they had a lot of success. A lot of people are kind of down on them now with the quarterback situation, and we'll see where it ends up with Kalani. We'll take a break right now and come back, and we'll talk. We got a topical trivia. Maybe we get a little cross-talk with Spence Checketts. I got some Jets information for Spence. He's fan number one for the New York Jets, so I'm sure he'll like what we have to talk about. And of course, I can't wait to hear what his show is about today, when the Sean O'Connell Show returns here on ESPN 700 92.1 FM. Hello, sports fans. Welcome back. It is the Sean O'Connell Show here on ESPN 792.1 FM, Utah's #1 sports talk. Scott Mitchell here filling in for Sean today and tomorrow. Oh, boy, has it been fun today. I hope you've enjoyed the program here. Just had a tremendous show. Lots of great conversations, fun topics, and, I love to share my insight on things. Hey, topical trivia, 2 tickets to Athletes Unlimited softball game Saturday at Dumke Family Stadium. All right, you ready for this? What city did ESPN Sports Center host Scooby Magaza grow up in? Text 877-353-0700. 2 tickets. You can win those right now. What city did he grow up in? Of course, he's going to be here this weekend. Sports Center will be live at the Dumke Family Stadium for Athletes Unlimited Softball, their tournament here in Salt Lake, Thursday, July 17th. Utah's ESPN Radio Network will be live at the stadium from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. It will include all the great shows, the Sean O'Connell Show, The Drive with Spence Checketts, and, of course, Sit Down and Dirty here with Scott Mitchell. That's me. We got a guy here who is a huge New York Jets fan. He's fan number 1 as it relates to the New York Jets. And the Jets got busy. I don't know if Spence Checketts, he joins us now. Of course, Spence is with The Drive, and that's coming up here in a few minutes. But Sauce Gardner, highest paid defensive back in the NFL, and Garrett Wilson is up there. So they took their 2 young stars and signed them to big-time contract extensions. Does that get you excited as a Jet fan? Is that a step in the right direction, or is this just whatever?
Can either of them play quarterback? Is my question. I mean, it's better than letting them walk. Garrett Wilson apparently last year was frustrated, as he should be, and they're both awesome.
They are.
They're both really good players, but it's the same thing with the Jets until they have a quarterback. It's the same thing with any team in football. If you don't have a great quarterback, don't kick off. I mean, it's kind of the deal. So, like I said, it's better than allowing them to walk, but still, I'm not anticipating anything special with Justin Fields under center this year.
I don't know. It could be that.
Scott, will you stop it? I'm so sick of all you football people being like, hey, the Jets look good this year. No, can't it? There's no chance.
I didn't say that.
No, I swear.
I don't think that I was joking because I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I don't think anything's changed. You have to sign those guys.
Yeah,
there's no question about it. You can't let those guys walk. But and they are special talents. But it's it's so hard when you are so reliant on so many parts in that quarterback position. Man, it makes a big deal. I don't know if you saw this or not, but Netflix is doing the 2nd season of quarterbacks, and I watched the first episode, and I love it because it is so spot on. And they do such a great job of getting in a very intimate behind the scenes look, and these guys are very candid and very honest about where things are and how they view stuff, and it's just tremendous. It's from last football season, and so but boy, what a great thing to see. What you got on the show today? What's on the drive?
Rookies report to training camp in the NFL. Jackson Dart had some we don't have a ton of local rookies that are expected to do much this year. Jackson's kind of like the only one, even though he didn't play college ball here. It's summer radio, so it's like Bill Conley released his list of the top 20 coaches in college football. We have the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. Bleacher Report released an interesting list of the top 100 players in NBA history. And I was stunned where Carl fell and where John fell. I thought they'd be higher. We've got some summer league to do on the show. Excuse me. Tim McMahon reported this morning that the Jazz, for all intents and purposes, have shut down trade talks with Larry Markkinen. So Tim's going to stop by, and then we'll continue throughout the next couple weeks before he takes some more time off, before we kind of hit, the highway in the fall, where there's no such thing as time off in this business. We'll have a guest per day to talk about Frank. So we're going to have Grant Harrison on, who worked for the Jazz for a number of years. Bill Riley joins us. Yesterday was all about Frank, and so we'll get back to some Utah football, some Big 12 football. But, yeah, per usual, we'll do a bit of everything today on the program.
46 days to Utah's first game at UCLA and 98 days before the start of the NBA season. If you're interested.
Look at you.
Yes, if you wanted to know.
98 days before we get to watch basketball players not show up for work for 6 months before the playoffs start.
So it's only 100 days away.
And load management is seeped into Summer League. I turned on the game last night. Ace isn't playing. Walt's not playing. But we got a little Kyle Filipowski action. He looks really good.
Yeah. He seems to be the star of the show this summer.
Because he's actually showing up for work. It's amazing.
Go figure. All right, there you have it. A little crosstalk with Spence Checketts. The Drive with Spence Checketts is right around the corner. Thank you, folks, for tuning in today. Had such a great time. This has been the Sean O'Connell Show here on ESPN 7 to 9, 92.1 FM. I'm Scott Mitchell, filling in for Sean today. Until then, we'll see you then.